Yo, you got a dream or an idea that's been marinating in your noggin? Maybe you've been wanting to create a website to show off or sell stuff. Maybe you want to show off you. Well, you can do it all with SquareSpace. If you got no experience building a website, have no fear, y'all. SquareSpace has award-winning templates to help you find the right look for your site. If you want to have a funky site to sell artisan cotton candy, you can. If you wanted to sell products, you totally can. You can sell gift cards and subscriptions too, if that is a part of the idea with the cotton candy biz. And of course, Squarespace can help you lock down a hot domain that works for your new fancy website. Head to squarespace.com/bombcast for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code BOMBCAST to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. It's not working. Oh, it is working. Okay.
Oh,
No, it's going. It's only my mic for some reason. That's okay. This is the Bombcast music. It's playing right now. Welcome, everybody, to the Giant Bombcast. That's right, I'm back. It's running through my veins. It's okay. I'm fine.
Lose.
I live. I rose not on the third day. That'd be sacrilegious. I'm desperately trying to tell this GoXLR to calm down. There it is. That's right, Scout. I know we haven't been out in 2.5 weeks, but we're out today, baby. Welcome to the Giant Bombcast, episode 780 on this March 14th, 2023. Happy Pie Day to those that celebrate. Yeah, that's right. We're going to get pies all day, baby. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank my dear friend, Nikki Grayson, for giving me the worst idea in the world of just creating an open Word document. So if you're watching the Giant Bombcast live right now,
There it is.
Whether on Twitch or on the website, we have a Word doc up. This is to help us, if we say something, you can throw it up there, suggest that as an episode title, or, just hang out. Why not have 3 chats now? An unofficial one, which is just a Word doc that can't be really moderated, except amongst y'all. I'm Giannachoa. I'm back. Survived the vid. It's terrible. I got the faint strip line. The faint line, boys.
Ooh, the faint line.
The faint line.
That's good.
Joining me today, as always, the co-captain of the ship, Jeff Grubb.
I'm so glad you're back. Oh my God. I was so scared the entire time. I'm so glad you're back.
The whole time I was just like, I hope Grubb doesn't. I hope nothing bad happens to Grubb. I don't know what we're gonna do at that
if
point.
I burn something down, I don't worry. I buried the evidence. Don't worry. There's nothing left of that thing I burned down. We're all good.
Fantastic.
I'm still scared, but now you're back.
Fantastic. Jeff Bakalar in the house. Lovely shirt.
Hey, listen. How good of an idea is an open doc? Let's be really serious with ourselves.
It's a good idea until it's evidence in a court case.
Is there anything that we can do where we can put text in there that no one can touch?
No, I think everything's fair game.
Cool.
Yeah.
So just a complete unmitigated disaster. Okay, got it. Okay, I just want to make sure.
This is more of a social experiment than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is hard science.
Honestly, this is what the notes in my brain looks like. This is exactly what it's like up
That's horrifying.
there. Yeah.
And
Okay, one ring.
And to round out today's podcast, we have to Red Bull Rory himself, Matthew
Hello.
Rory, in the house.
How are you today?
I'm feeling all right.
I'm talking over people already, so these Red Bulls are kicking in.
Okay.
And I got a dog staring at me.
What
so
counts as like a full Red Bull to you, Rory? Is it an 8 ounce or is it a
8
12?
ounce, yeah, 8.4. If I do a 12, I do one of those. So I'm a little less caffeinated, but
But if you do 2 8.4s, isn't that more than a
that's
12?
more than 12, yeah. But you don't want 2 12s, obviously. That's like danger zone. That's crazy time.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah.
I want to live in that danger zone.
How's before we can talk about how everyone else is doing. I'm fine. I barely got up and everything, and
You sound great. You look great. I'm happy you're back, man. For real.
Thank you.
Yeah. We need you.
I need everyone here. And just like I need Matthew Rory to share some stuff that's been happening with you, Matt.
We're getting into NFTs, everybody.
Yeah, it's
Giant bomb.
happening.
That's right. Everything on this Word doc is an NFT now.
That's it.
NFT pitch doc.
Lock it up.
Hard to say, but I will be departing Giant Bomb. Friday will be my last day. I gave my 2 weeks a couple weeks ago. Nothing related to Giant Bomb at all. It's honestly just kind of like An opportunity popped up from talking to a friend that popped up, and I would be a fool not to take it. I was really hoping to hit my 10 years here in April. But yeah, just kind of a perfect timing, perfect storm kind of thing. So I'm not going to talk about it yet. I'm taking a week off next week, but I will be back on Monday, the 27th on Twitter, probably. I haven't tweeted in a while, but look out for that here. And I'm not going to go anywhere. I'll still be on the Discord and hanging out and everything like that. But it's been a long road. My dog is fucking so annoying right now in this moment, just staring at me like she wants something. I don't know what it is. So
listen, I know you don't want to say it, but you're going to be the new CEO of Silicon Valley Bank, right?
There we go. I'm taking it over. I got a call from Janet Yellen and just said, hey, we need to figure this out. It's a bittersweet kind of moment. Obviously, I've been here for a very long time, through thick and thin, a lot of people coming and going. And I've always been saying they're going to turn the lights out on me. But here, I just had something pop up in my life that popped up, and I keep on saying pop up. It's not a pop up. It's a very real job opportunity. So hopefully everything will go smoothly here at Giant Bomb. I will be here till the end of the week. We're going to be handing off support tickets and some other stuff. And hopefully we'll get the merch store up this week too, which my last day, I want to be doing support tickets for refunds for store codes. That's always been my goal at Giant Bomb.
That's the dream.
Sorry if anybody's bummed. It's a positive thing in my life. I'm really looking forward to it. Trying something new after 10 years. 10 years is a long time to do anything at one place. So don't hate me. I can't. It's like that yellow Post-it note in Sex and the City. I can't. I'm sorry. Don't hate me. But yeah, I'm happy for myself. I'm sorry to leave some people in the lurch here. It's going to be a busy time at Giant Bomb for everybody else, but it's been real, and it'll keep being real. Like I said, I'm still going to be in the Discord and try to hang out on the forums as much as I can.
Rory, I love you to death. I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but could you please, if you have one top of the mind, share your favorite E.E. Cummings poem?
Oh God, I don't actually know if I know them all front to back. They're a little tough. I don't know if I could do that off the spur of my head.
You have a line?
Yeah, well, it's where my Twitter feed comes from. In your most frail gesture, there are things which enclose me, or which I cannot touch because they are too near. That's from a poem called, I forget. My head's a little wobbly right now after announcing.
I don't need it.
Announcing my.
It's the Red Bull. It's not your fault.
E. Cummings great. One of my other favorite lines of his is, "The snow does not give a soft white dam upon whom it lands." Read any E. Cummings, you'll be having a great time.
Let me
except for all the anti-Semitic stuff. Avoid that.
Yeah. Avoid that part. Yeah, avoid that in general. Folks, if you're watching live, if you're watching the archive, listening, please drop an uppercase R for Matthew Rory. I'll just miss you in general. I'm glad that the last time I saw you, we were sleep deprived, mildly inebriated, and then you farted really loud next to me.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
I will tell my children that in the future. It's like, hey, you remember Uncle Matt that we visited in Oakland?
I'll see if I can raise the volume on those and try to get one through this mic here, because the mic is pretty sensitive.
What? Oh, well, okay, sure. Just don't soil yourself.
Last Bombcast, probably, maybe not the last Bombcast. I will be working in games in the future, which I honestly have never thought would be like. I'm
just
43.
Say it. Alpha Protocol 2. It's happening.
Finally.
So that'll be. I'm not gonna say what I'm doing right now, but you can come in. Don't worry about it. I'm just on the bomb. She's been staring at me for like. Sorry.
That's right. Hard R's, everybody. This is the one time we will accept hard R's.
He said it, not me.
I'm
staying out of that one.
I know what I said, but yeah. So I'll talk about it more in a couple weeks. I'm going to take a week off with my mom. My mom lands 7:00 Friday after my last day. Takes off 6 a.m. the day I start this new job, so I have to be up at 4 to drop her off at the airport. So it's going to be a whirlwind kind of time, but it'll be interesting to see what happens next. We got some interesting plans for Giant Bomb going forward, and we doing some transition work here. So hopefully everything will be pretty smooth. If you don't get prompt responses to support tickets, tell somebody else.
Rory,
that's right. Tell somebody else.
Rory, you are you're one of a kind, and saying that is an understatement.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you for helping me so much when I first arrived, trying to make a sense of like, what the fuck was all this?
Yeah.
You were very much a beacon for me, and I appreciate all of that help and guidance in those.
That's what I'm trying to tell
moments.
everybody. Like, there's so much shit in the background of Giant Bomb that nobody's going to know how to do once I leave. So please feel free to ping me anytime. I'll try my best to get it figured out.
We're gonna annoy you. For
yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
no, that's
no,
fine.
without a doubt. Like, nothing is really changing aside. You're just gonna have a different email address. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I look forward to figuring out how to do the really weird refund stuff. But we should have somebody taking over support tickets and obviously moderation stuff. You can still come to any of the crew, send out that PM moderation crew, or talk to Backlar here, I suppose, if you have any questions about anything like that. If there's anything
or not,
desperately
maybe just
the other
send
thing
it
I
to
should
somebody,
say, I am way behind on shipping shit out for the premium giveaways in the Discord. I'm going to try and go to the office on Thursday. It's been so rainy, I haven't gone to the office all year. I'm going to try and get all this done out. And try to get all those stuff from Extra Life shipped out too, because I can't expense that after Friday, so I'm going to try and get all that shit done Thursday. So if you've been waiting on a letter or anything like that, I'll try to get your prizes done by the end of the week, and hopefully you'll see them soon. And if I don't get them out, then I'll try to pay for my own cost at some point soon.
No, you're not. You won't do that. We will give you money to do that.
Yeah,
also,
we'll cover it.
We'll try.
I just want everyone listening. I feel like there is this sort of like under discussed or like mutual understanding around the entire Giant Bomb ecosystem. They're like, oh, Rory just does everything, but like kind of fucking true. Like I don't think anyone can really truly appreciate the variety and the amount of plates that you're constantly spinning. It's really just I feel like under discussed, but definitely appreciated. And irreplaceable, absolutely. So thank you for everything on behalf of everyone, past, future, and present.
That was the exciting thing about this new opportunity, which I'll get more into later, but it is very similar to what I do now, which has always been my worry about Giant Bomb. Like, I'm so spread out and so jack of all trades that it's tough to put, if you ever did have to leave, what would I find to do? Because I do so many different things. And luckily someone was looking for pretty much everything that I do here. So it was pretty natural fit, and working with an old friend. So I'll talk more about it in the future, but definitely an odd day in the Rory household. But I just hope my internet doesn't cut out again. That'd be like the perfect thing to do. It was cutting out right before this Bombcast, but I will talk to everybody on the Discord later. I'm not in chat right now, but just want to get that away at the top, and now we can get on with the regular Bombcast. I'll definitely also be on UPF, and I'll probably write something for the homepage this week too. So not the last of me here, but we'll talk more about it later.
Yes, just like there is one ring in Lord of the Rings, and that one ring is now in the Magic the Gathering. There was only one Matthew Rory, and Matt, it is a hole that will never be able to be filled.
Impossible.
It's weird. It's going to be weird.
It's going to be a weird shaped hole, to be honest.
It's going to be a weird hole.
Yeah, like no shoes are there. It's socks aplenty.
Just like a big Looney Tunes hole in the ground.
Yeah, it's like it's a little moist as well, because when Rory sweats, Rory sweats.
I do. I'm actually going to take this goddamn sweater off. So say anything mean you want to about me right now, because I don't know why I put on a pullover hoodie.
He's so nice.
After two Red Bulls.
This one time he got me a chicken sandwich at E3.
Oh, his nipples. I'm going to miss those nipples.
Showing everything.
He had to show him before he left, didn't he?
People have seen me shirtless if you're watching this podcast, probably.
Yeah. All right, everybody. I guess we can talk about video games. Is it playing out? That's not playing out? I know why that's not playing out. This is because that button was ticked off. Was that going now?
A little bit. It's getting caught up in the music and the sound catcher thing. But yes, we hear a little bit of it.
Sound catchers. I didn't play much video games during having the vid. What I
hear is it's hard to concentrate on things. Did you find that to be the case?
Incredibly so. I was constantly sweating. I was worried.
Jay, real quick, what I hear is to help avoid long COVID, vitamin D pills really do help. I know it sounds like a joke, but I am hearing that if you want to avoid some like brain fog,
D's nuts.
Apparently, most Americans don't get enough vitamin D, and there are like correlations between people who are really deficient and getting long COVID. So,
is D the one that's in orange juice, or is that the one in milk?
D, I think.
No, I think you want milk.
I think you want sun.
You also want to
isn't it in bananas?
Yeah.
That's potassium.
It's probably in there
too. That's why.
Just look at the sun for an hour today, okay?
Yeah. Honestly, go outside each day and get some sun in your eyes for like 10 minutes, and you'll be good.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, please interrupt as much as you want. If I just look at a light really close, will that suffice? No,
probably not.
There's
not
no
a calculator.
Damn.
It's got to be all natural celestial body.
Healthy American sunlight.
Weird that the sun can give you vitamins. I think I don't know if
It feeds plants. What do you? It's not. That's how it all works.
Yeah, but they have like photosynthesis. Do we have photosynthesis?
I am not a doctor.
We
I gotta
absorb
say
vitamin D
this.
through sunlight.
Clearly, I am not a doctor.
I think of vitamins, minerals, and stuff. So it's just like when it's like shooting space rocks,
shooting pills at you.
You know what? I don't buy it.
Do we also have mitochondria, or is that just plants?
I don't know.
All I know is that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. I just don't know which cell. If it's a plant cell or a regular cell.
Right. Maybe
we
both.
have that. Okay.
We have that. Okay.
I'm glad that 4 adult males know nothing about biology.
Right. How does my body work? Ooh, boy. Oh, that's a good one.
We know enough to get by.
I know
we don't have chlorophyll.
Yeah, but that's probably
not chlorophyll.
There's some dudes that don't know how to lower a seat afterwards, man. That's all.
I don't know, man.
I'm not putting it past any of us.
No, I've been doing that ever since I saw a video of a slow motion flush explode germs everywhere, and I'm like, that's pretty gross. So I close it every time. That's my greatest skill. That's what I bring to the table, is closing the lid on the toilet when I'm done.
I have been somehow signed out of the document that I made, and I'm a little.
That's good. Log in. I'll explain vitamin D. Michael in chat says the sun doesn't hand us vitamin D. It helps our bodies produce it. According to one person, complete stranger in a chat room.
They could be a doctor. They very well could be a doctor.
It could be makes our cells go crazy and split and create mutations. So I guess it could also probably do good things as well.
Yeah,
all right.
If it can burn you.
You got me back on board, everybody.
Hey, I'm back on the sun.
Yeah, Bab. Sun's back in the good book.
Love it.
Just like we're back in the sun, the only game that I was really able to play, unfortunately, I was back on my bullshit, y'all. I went back to Marvel Snap. I re-downloaded it.
There it is.
And I, on top of the time traveling that being really sick will help you do, I wound up continuing to time travel with Marvel Snap. And I'm happy to say that I am still missing a lot of the newer cards that are super heavy in the meta currently. Like, I don't have any of the Series 4 or 5 cards. I gotta
ask really quick, what is the expansion plan for that? Are they constantly adding new cards, or are they expansion
new
packs
seasons
or what?
with 4 to 5 cards these days?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You pay for them?
Kind of. You can't directly pay for them. You still have to exchange credits, or now tokens. Mm-hmm. Like, the shop will have a daily card that you can exchange tokens for, and tokens you have to get through like the loot box style stuff.
Sure.
And I'm happy to say that even despite not having some of the more current cards, I'm still able to get by with my current deck, which is still like
Season 3 and before has most of the cards you're going to need anyhow. What is the deck you're mostly running?
So I'm switching between 2 decks. The first one is still the zoo style deck. So throwing out like a bunch of 1-tier cards out, and then just buffing those progressively through the game. The second deck, it's mostly because I lucked out with the shop. I'm rocking an Armin Zola and Venom deck.
Sure. Yes, that was very popular when I kind of stopped playing. Yeah.
Yeah. And the whole point of that is Venom is one of those cards that eats other cards, and Zola will eat a friendly card and blast it in the 2 other lanes that you're playing in. So if you have those other lanes with other buffed up friendly cards, Venom will not only be boosted up himself, but he'll also eat all of those cards. So you can go from having like 1 commanding presence in a lane to now you're commanding like 2. And it's real messed up. Especially, it is more than 1. And if you pair it correctly with the proper location, like Bar Sinister, or is it Bar Sinister? One of the locations will multiply a card. So if you combine that with Venom and Zola,
it'll create the cycle kind of thing, right?
Which one's Zola? Is that the magician, or is that the
No, it's the guy with it's the AI that's in a body, kind of like Krang.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Oh shit, I know that guy.
I mixed up with Zemo there for a bit. Zemo in the game?
Yes, he's in the similar purview or similar area as Zemo. He's the
part of AIM.
Villain. They're buddies. Zemo
we have this website called Comic Vine. Zola.
What's gonna happen to Comic Vine?
Oh, that's a great question.
That is
Listen,
an excellent question.
Who's MODOK?
MODOK is a mobile organism designed only for killing.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's MODOK is the other strange guy that kind of looks like Krang.
Yes.
Right.
He's got little
it.
baby
Okay.
arms and like a big head.
It's so funny. Like
Ryan Davis is funniest. He loved MODOK so much.
Loved
Would crack up
MODOK.
every time he saw him. Just loved MODOK. People, I still have. There's some fan art of Ryan as MODOK floating around somewhere, which is always fantastic.
But yeah, unfortunately, I haven't dipped into this month's battle pass. I do think that the seasons, like they're only for a month, right, Grub? Is that correct?
They're pretty quick. I think they might be 6 weeks. They're not very long either way. They're not.
So
Like if you buy a season, you got to be playing because it's gonna go by fast.
Magic does this thing where you can buy the battle pass at the end of the season and get all the rewards that you might have unlocked anyways, which is kind of nice in case you're on the fence about whether you're finishing or not. But they also put on like absolute trash shit at the last week, so if you don't get to the top tier, it's no big deal. But I get that battle pass every expansion for Magic. I usually make the money back by drafting a little bit here and there. I don't know how Magic, what is it, or how Snap does it? Is it like a dollar cost to buy the battle pass, or
Yes.
gem cost or something?
It's $10, but I think they do the same thing that Magic does,
Okay, good.
where you can progress through, and then if at the end of the season, if you decide to just convert over, you get all the stuff you missed. My current problem, though, folks, and I need the mathematicians in the Giant Bomb audience to help me out here. I have an excess of gold, and I don't quite care about buying the variants of the cards, so I'm trying to figure out.
I'm glad.
And I don't. Yeah, I just want the
cosmetics
cards.
for me. I never buy any cosmetics. I just like that. I will save my gold for actual things I can use and not worry about it.
Except in Fortnite, where my mind is broken.
There we go. Yeah.
Truly sick.
So if I'm wondering whether or not I should save that gold to just buy more credit packs or just unlock more missions, just so.
Sorrow says, spin them on Token Tuesday and unlock Series 4 cards.
Token Tuesday. That's also what the Giant Bombcast is because I'm here. Just kidding, everyone.
Oh, hey-o.
It's fun jokes. It's fun jokes. It's fine because I said it. It's fine because I said it.
That's how it works. Them's the rules.
Can we call the Bombcast today Token? No, we can't call it Token Tuesday.
Listen, you throw on the titles, and I'm not going to stop you.
yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, like
That's
it's
true.
your domain.
Yeah. It could be Tolkien Tuesday once Gollum comes out.
One Ring,
Yeah.
sure.
All right, everybody. Another new old game that came out recently is Dead Cells Return to Castlevania.
Hey.
Yeah.
Was this a free add-on?
No.
$10.
Oh, okay.
Their previous DLCs have been $5 each. This one's $10. This is the first one that I think has a big brand attached to it, so it makes some sense. But also, it's very good and it's very substantial. It adds a lot of new stuff. So there's new weapons that are Castlevania themed. You can get a sword whip and stuff like that. There are new levels, and they just integrate them into the normal roguelike progression that you have in this game. So you're in that first level, and instead of going to the sewers, this time you can go to the castle outskirts, and that takes you to a Castlevania path. And then if you get out of the castle outskirts, you'll go to Dracula's castle. And if you get out of there, you might go to like Dracula's chambers or whatever. But for the first couple times, you actually you're going to get taken down by death, and you got to fight death, and then you got to start over and do the path again. This time, maybe you'll be able to get to Dracula. But it just integrates everything so seamlessly that it's very fun. Like to one, go back to play more Dead Cells because Dead Cells is great, and two, have all this really fun Castlevania stuff in there that really does obviously mesh well. Because I mean, I think the developers have said as much. They took a lot of inspiration from Castlevania, like a lot of games have, Vampire Survivors and everything else these days. It's
more than
it's really well done.
inspiration in the sense of Vampire Survivors. In
Sure,
some
yes,
cases.
but in that case, I would be like, it's very fair because Castlevania is just like, what if we took every like monster book and just turned that into a video game? It's like, oh yeah, okay, totally. But I'm having a really good time with it. I started playing it last night. I got to a pretty good flow of things. where I was like, okay, I'm figuring out first of all how to get my legs back in Dead Cells, but also just like, okay, what is the path I need to be taking to making progression here? Because I mostly played on the Switch and I got this DLC on Steam, so it's like I don't have my full build there. So it's been like, okay, I'm gonna focus on the Castlevania stuff because that'll make it more likely for the Castlevania stuff to show up. And yeah, I've just really been enjoying it. I have not defeated death yet. That's where I'm at, where I'm like getting to death. And I'm not loving my builds yet enough to be able to survive that. Although this last time I did have a very good build. I got half his life away, but I brought a curse in from the previous stage because I was very stupid and was like, I'm doing really good right now. I'll take a curse, sure. And I was able to kill 7 of the 10 enemies I needed to kill without getting hit before getting rid of the curse. And then there were no more enemies left on the stage. And the next thing I had to do was go fight death.
I hate that curse a lot.
Yeah, so I mean, that's why it's the risk reward. And I'm like, no, I can totally handle this right now. So he hit me once when I had half his life gone and I died. It's like, man, that was stupid. I didn't even get anything good from it, from doing the curse. So it's like, whatever. But I mean, that's the game, and it's a ton of fun. And I'm, any excuse to go back to Dead Cells, and I've said that before. They've given me excuses to go back before. This has been like, oh no, this is the really good excuse. Castlevania stuff plus all the DLC I've missed so far. So I'm really enjoying myself.
Nice. Grub, or I guess everyone, like what was your general build with Dead Cells? I remember really liking double bows.
I got to a place where I would try to roll with the punches as best I could.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to go for any one thing because by the time I beat it on the Switch, and this was like back when it was much harder. They've made the first level, like the first difficulty level, much easier now. I would try to roll with whatever I could get, but the way I actually ended up beating it was focusing on the survival build instead of anything else. So if I got green weapons and green traps and stuff, I would use those, and then I would try to put all the upgrades into the green one because that would increase your survivability, which means as you're getting weapons later on, it'll be like you're going to take 10% less damage, you're going to take 15% less damage, and all those things stack. And it meant that I was just this tank that could take on anything, and I was still able to do a ton of damage because all the weapons in that game are a lot of fun to use and are pretty, actually pretty deadly. So that was the one that really worked for me. At this point, the way it is now, I'm like, I could beat this game with anything. So they really have made it a lot easier.
Dead Cells is one of those games that I was, as soon as I checked out the quick look that you and Dan did live now on the site, I was like, oh crap, I got to restart this on the Steam Deck because most of my progress was on the Switch. And then it was one of those things where I realized, oh, I already own this on Steam too. Okay, cool. Now I'm in the tango of like, I already picked up the Castlevania DLC, but because there's 2-3 more other DLCs from Dead Cells?
There's a total of 4 now, yes.
Total of 4? I'm just wondering, like, should I get those too? Should I pick those up? Because I don't have anything unlocked.
You could be working on that stuff along the way. Like, I definitely have been doing that a little bit, yeah.
Jan, never look up any train simulator DLC packages because I worry the temptation would be too much for you.
Oh, y'all know me in temptation. I'm constantly flirting with it.
There's five DLCs: Rise of the Giant, Bed Seed, Fatal Falls.
I haven't played Dead Cells since like 2019, so maybe I'll try to reinstall it. I've been really looking for like a meaty game to get into, which is just kind of been tough lately. Like I'm still working my way through God of War. I'm gonna segue into my game. How about that?
Yeah.
Just while I'm already doing it. I've also been playing Dead Island 2 a little bit here and there. It's not out for like another month. I was really surprised to get the preview code so early. I don't think we're allowed to do any live streaming. I was looking up the embargo after we planned to record a quick look, so it says we can't do that. So luckily we didn't waste any time there. But it's Dead Island 2. It's weird. It's really interesting because it is pretty much mechanically as similar to Dead Island as I can recall a game being. And whether you want more Dead Island, like 10 years, 9 years later, I think.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's approaching 10.
Yeah. Like it feels like it's pretty much the same game. You're going through a lot of roller suitcases looking for cash, picking up wrenches and hitting people in the head with it. It seems fine. I always, that's kind of damning with faint praise, I know. But if you want to hear what the game's all about, I'm going to read from the from the press kit here. Dead Island 2 is a first-person action RPG set in a hellish yet stylish and vibrant, gore-drenched vision of Los Angeles, nicknamed Hell A. The series' unique form of the dark humor and over-the-top zombie slaying returns with all the swagger and charisma you'd expect from Dead Island. I don't remember there being much charisma in the first Dead Island.
Yeah, I don't expect much at all.
It was a good game at the time. It was kind of pretty interesting for the weapon crafting and everything like that. I really did enjoy that. You get right into that pretty quick on in Dead Island as well. You get the jump kick, which is pretty good. You really do need that right away. Kicking zombies off of buildings has not lost its charm. The weird thing is you can pick as a class. You can be like one of 7 different classes, I think, with different voices and kind of stat builds on what you pick at the beginning, but you can't change those later on. So it's kind of, you got to pick what kind of, before you even know what you're getting into, you kind of have to pick a character. Writing seems fine. There's a streamer house that you wander into within the first 30 minutes. So it's going to be that kind of humor. It's really interesting. I wish I could have played more, but I've obviously been a little distracted lately. But they've cut off the access to the preview as of this morning. So performance is fine on PC. It's not fantastic, but it is a month away from release, so I can't really. I'm not going to knock it for that. Like I said, Returnal was awful on PC right before it came out, so has improved a lot. But yeah, Dead Island 2, it's weird. Like after Dying Light and Dying Light 2, it feels like that those games work so much more on mobility and getting around, like having interesting kind of writing too. And Dead Island 2 wasn't, or Dying Light 2 was not the best written game of all time, but it had some fun NPCs to interact with. This so far feels LA satire, Escape from LA, but with zombies kind of thing. So give it more time. I would love to see this game closer to release. It seemed pretty monotonous in terms of running around hitting people with wrenches, but I didn't get past like the first 3 hours. So it's wrenches.
God, doesn't like wrenches.
Is it open world or what?
It's not really. So it's really weird. It's split up into maps that are actually pretty small, and you wander between them trying to get to your next quest. So you start off in LA, like this big suburb, kind of not suburb, but like the really high end mansion part of LA, and then you're walking through hotels and everything like that. It looks like it's kind of sticking up to the highfalutin parts of Hell A,
right?
Which I can't get over the dumbness of how that sounds.
It's pretty dumb.
It's pretty dumb.
Yeah.
So you're talking to movie stars and this guy who's Charlton Heston, the kind of stand-in, and there's a streamer house where they're trying to find video of them shooting zombies. So
wait, Charlton Heston?
It's not named Charlton Heston, but
no, I know, but like even as a reference at this point, Charlton Heston is 15 years too late.
Yeah,
well, that's
I feel
how long
like
this
character
game's
he's
been in
supposed to be. He
development,
makes a
right
reference
now.
to a very well-known movie franchise, and I forget what it was, but I thought it was Charlton Heston. I could be wrong, but
I was expecting like the Spring Breakers vibe, where it's got what's his name from that movie that tries to like riff. Yeah, James Franco, like riff on like a Franco kind of character.
No.
Where it's like he's like a slimy LA guy that no one likes anymore. But no, Charlton Heston. Okay.
Yeah, it's weird. It's got it's not super referential from what I know. There's a bridezilla in it who's getting married at a hotel, and you have to go beat her up. There's some tough fights. It's really there's some actual. I mean, there's all the kind of stuff that you're used to: fire, electricity, all that kind of stuff is still there and present. You're trying to do status effects, and like I said, drop kicking zombies off of buildings is never going to bore me.
Sure.
I love that so much in Dying Light. I used to do that all the time in Dying Light 1, just lure people up on buildings and kick them off. It's fun. It's fucking fun. But I don't know if there's much built around that specific activity to make it really worthwhile. It's neat. You're hitting shit. You're breaking arms. You're clocking people in the head. They got some fun weapons, but I'll need to see more whether it's worth $80 fucking for the expensive one on Epic Game Store. So,
see, I was always lost because I had assumed over the years that Dead Island 2 just evaporated.
Hadn't come out, yeah,
right.
And 10 years later, it's so weird that it's coming out now. It doesn't.
There was Dead Island Riptide, and in my mind, for a very
that.
long time, that was just Dead Island 2, and I was like, okay, that came out, and then no one cared about it. And then it's like, no, that was something else. Dead Island 2 is still coming, and I just couldn't process that.
It's so
for
weird.
A very long time. Yeah,
it really looks like it's stuck in design from like 2015. Like there's not much.
The original
fresh about it.
it's 2011.
Yeah.
So
oh god,
12 years.
Crazy.
Wow.
12 years this year. It's September 2011. That is bananas.
That's a throwback.
I assume the real heart of the development team went on to Dying Light. I like the Dying Light games a lot.
This is completely different team.
I'm not really sure who's. I haven't followed the development of Dying Light. Not that there's been much to really follow because it's just now coming out 12 years later. But
yeah, it's almost impressive that they are getting this game out at all.
Yeah,
like
it's really
that's
amazing.
Kind of surprising.
And they don't. I hope it's a success. I never wish ill on a game, but I would probably just rather play Dying Light 2 again than play this. But at the moment, for the amount I've played of it, we'll see what the future brings.
Yeah, I always assumed that Dead Island 2 just became Dying Light eventually because it's all Techland, right? Or at least underneath Techland.
Techland moved on, and this is a different team. And I'm trying to remember the name of the team, and it's not going to come to me. But yeah, this that's what happened. Like that was the lineage. Just Techland moved on, made Dying Light, and had this huge success. And then this is underneath Embracer and under Deep Silver and a couple other layers there. And they were like we're going to Dead Island too. We're going to make that happen. And they had to bring in a different studio. I think it's the studio that did Homefront, The Revolution. Homefront, The Revolution. Is that
talking
right?
about recent hit games. Was that the Homefront remake?
That was the Homefront sequel.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
When did that come out even? 2016. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Homefront. Okay. I get that mixed up with Home World, I think, sometimes.
Oh, right.
It was like a California urban warfare thing.
Homefront was revolutionarily bad, though, right? I remember.
Oh, this guy. Okay.
I want to say I remember this being mixed or average. Okay, generally unfavorable. I'm
like every time I hear a game like, oh, it could be bad. I'm like, I hope it's really bad so I can make the guys play it on Blight Club. But
well,
that's where I'm at.
I don't think Dead Island 2 is there. I think it's fine. And I always say I hate when people say, oh, it's fine. It's kind of some games are not, especially memorable. I probably if I'd play the game for 2 hours, I'd probably have to think about whether I want to keep going with it or get a Steam refund. But maybe there's something amazing later on in the game. But I've definitely read some other preview coverage, and it kind of seems like an average game.
Yeah. Is it multiplayer at all?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I only played the single player. I think there probably is co-op. I didn't play any of that in the preview. So there's all kinds of stuff with additional installation details that I don't know.
God, y'all remember?
Not a thorough preview of this game at all.
Y'all remember the reaction to that original trailer for Dead Island, and just how insane the internet went?
There is co-op.
Yes.
Sorry, there is co-op.
Yeah, it's the slow motion running backwards one, right?
Yeah.
It's very CGI one.
It was like a Sad Bastard song. Oh no, it wasn't Sad Bastard. It was a
it?
cover.
No, it was Happy, right?
Yeah, it was like it was like a juxtaposition kind of thing. Like
right.
It was some like 80s song, I feel like.
Is it Happy Together, or is that the new?
It could have been that, which is not an 80s song, but
yeah, I mean,
probably like a 70s song. But
I heard it in the 80s first, so don't worry. That's where I went with it.
We don't know what happened before the 80s. There's no way to tell.
Impossible to know. But yeah, and then the game also, that was the one that came with the statue of just a woman's bikini body, and her arms and legs were ripped off, but the boobs and the crotch, the bikini region was preserved. And then she was decapitated as well. And it was always like, this makes me uncomfortable.
Certainly.
And then you complain about that, and people are like, it's art. It's allowed to make you uncomfortable. And I'm like, oh, okay. I don't think so, but okay.
All right, gents. Before we move on to the game of the week, anyone play anything else they feel like talking about? Sharing with the class here.
I've played. Well, yeah. Are you going to get into your thing, Grub? There?
Well, no. I mean, is that going to be the game of the week?
Yeah, it's game of the week. I did check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, I touched Phantom Brigade. I started that up. I'm enjoying it, but there's a lot going on there.
Yes. I fired this up a long time ago as well, and it seemed like undiscernible in some points.
Right, I'm like, so it's got this cool system where it feels like it's the much more complicated version of Into the Breach, where it's going to show you what's going to happen in the next 5 seconds of this turn-based battle. I'm like, okay, that really appeals to me after Into the Breach, where it was a game where I like seeing what's going to happen immediately next, so I can plan for it. And I'm like, I kind of want all tactics games to have this. Oh, this one has this. So I'm very, I find it very appealing, but it is still a lot to immediately learn. And I'm in that process right now. I'm hoping to get over that hump.
Which game are we talking about?
Phantom Brigade.
Phantom
yeah, okay.
Brigade.
Sorry, I missed that, but yes, I had the same experience when I played it a couple years ago. It's been in EA for a very, very long time.
Right, and now it's out.
It's a lot. It's a lot right off the bat.
But it's a lot that I like want to get into. And then I'm trying to. I think we probably can't mention Chia yet. Is Chia, is that embargo? Do we know that?
Don't know.
Because I'll just say I saw Dan play it for a quick look. Boy, it looks like a lot like a Breath of the Wild indie game that I want. So I'm gonna probably play that and talk about that next week. But yeah, just got a code for that, so I'm gonna be playing a lot more of that.
Gosh, there's what? Forgive me, I forget the title of this game. This is the one thing, because I've seen so many people so high on it talk about. This is the one thing that's making me think about getting a PSVR 2. It's the game where you blink and like time progresses forward.
Right. That is out that's on Netflix. You could play that with your phone on Netflix, but of course you could do it. PSVR would make it more immersive for sure.
Nice. Before your eyes, yes.
Before your eyes, yes. That's it. Thank you. Yes. Have you tried it? Have you looked into it? Because I was like, man, I might just play that. But apparently, it's been out for years. You can play it with a webcam on your computer, and it tracks your eyes. And whenever you blink, it goes to the next scene. It jumps forward in this character's life that you're seeing, like from a first-person view. That sounds incredible.
Yeah, I was on the DLC podcast with Jeff Kanata and Christian Spicer, and they were so high on it. And what they had said that was really convincing me to try it out is like, yes, you could play it with your phone or with a webcam, just set up the eye tracking stuff. But like, despite this game being out, they were telling me that this feels like the official version of the game. Like this should have been the game the whole time. And that just
is it only VR on PSVR?
I think so. I don't know if all headsets can wind up doing like the eye tracking stuff, but they were saying
it's eye tracking, right? Totally. That's why. Okay, man. Yeah.
But they were saying that the implementation with PSVR 2, like that is like the way to play that game. And I'm thinking like, maybe I can cry in private in PSVR 2. That's what it is. But I
think that PSVR 2 is going to be. It's going to drop in price here pretty soon. I might wait for that, and if it does, I'm going to pick it up because that's how I want to play that game too.
It's one of those things where I'm still not sure if it's actually out yet.
Yeah, me too. I keep on hearing about PSVR 2, but I don't know if I've ever seen anybody actually. Man, $550. Holy mackerel.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah. Can you play Alex on that, or is that a Steam exclusive? That's not on PSVR, is it?
As far as we know,
that's the only fucking game I want to play in VR is Alex. And for like 3 years now, I've been wanting to play it. And there's a VR set somewhere. There's probably not a VR set in the office anymore because I doubt that I made the move to Phantom. Jan, you're gonna have to be responsible for all this shit at my desk, but I'll try to clean it up on Thursday. But I have a
sliding that in there.
That's the most upsetting thing I've heard today.
I don't have time to bring Luchadeer back in, so we're gonna have to find some. I should have set him up on this couch back here. When we take a break, I'll go get some of my.
Can I keep all your change that was on your desk?
You can definitely keep my change. I haven't been in that office in months.
Finders keepers rules.
Yeah, okay. I'll go in on Thursday and let you know if there's anything there. There is a huge monitor that used to belong to a former designer that I kind of claimed for myself, and I'm a little mad that I don't get to keep it. But maybe you'll if you ever go back to the office, Jan.
I'll help you pilfer it.
Real quick, I know I like glossed over that Chia game real quick. It's TCHIA. It was in that PlayStation State of Play, that most recent one. And everyone was like, it looks like Wind Waker because you have the little leaf, the deco leaf thing where you could float, and then you were sailing. But when Dan showed it to me, it was much, much more like Breath of the Wild in terms of how you're exploring things and what's going on in there. And I'm just, it's on my radar big time right now.
It looks like it's going to be on Epic and PlayStation.
Yes, it's PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. It's actually PlayStation Plus, Essential, or the second tier, the extra tier, and the premium tier on day one.
Oh.
So if you want to just pick it up that way, there you go.
Damn. All right, gents.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I remember the video, I remember the teaser, and then with Tears of the Kingdom coming out, I'm sort of just like, is this me filling up on bread before the meal?
Right, a little bit, but yeah, maybe. But I'm like, I need it actually.
Well, I guess there's gonna be folks out there that don't have a. I mean, it's really hard for people to not have a Switch. I feel like virtually everyone has a version of the Switch.
They're just out there. You could just they're like in a tray. Take a Switch, leave a Switch. You could just find one.
that some folks may not be able to pick up Tears of the Kingdom.
This
but
one's
like,
also it's like much more and again I think we can talk because there's like previews after this. This is like the preview stuff. It's got a ton of accommodation features where it tries to make it easier. If you're like a little kid and you want to have a no fail mode, you can click a button, you have a no fail mode. So if you're swimming under the water and you run out of stamina, because it's like, oh, that's the tension of exploring. Well, for a little kid, we're gonna let you just keep playing. That's fine.
Oh,
and then
cool.
yeah, and it's very light on combat, but it's got a ton of fun little physics interaction things where you climb to the top of the tree and you pull the tree back. And then you fling yourself forward, and then you could float, and then you could do like sweet flips in the air, and then you could teleport into a bird and fly as the bird, and then you could shoot yourself out of the bird, do more flips, get to the next tree, and like kind of start the process all over again. And it's like it is all that as cool as it sounds.
Yeah.
And then it's like it's a game about exploring at your own pace and having a kind of a vague direction of like, oh, here's a mission I should be doing. I'm gonna go in that direction and getting distracted. It's kind of cool to see see a game like this come from an indie developer. It's like, oh, someone has taken all the ideas of Breath of the Wild that really spoke to me, and really all the ideas that go all the way back to the original The Legend of Zelda that spoke to me. And it's like, okay, now we're going to imagine what this could be like with not just indie game levels of quality in terms of graphics, but indie levels of passion where it's like, oh, and this game also is trying to be a New Caledonia. Or a sort of abstracted version of New Caledonia, which is a small island off the coast of Australia that has a native population there, and they're trying to bring that culture into this game, and that's all super well done, and just makes this place such a pleasant place to be. It's like as soon as Dan showed it to me, right to the top of my most anticipated charts. Before the quick look was over, I was like, hey, can I get a code for this so I can start playing? That's where I'm at.
Before we get to the game of the week, I read an embargo fervently, and it looks like I can talk about WWE 2K23, baby.
Yes, the reviews for that went up earlier today, I think, or yesterday. Yeah.
Wow.
I checked out maybe a good hour or so of the game. Similar to the last entry, where there's like a really well done guided tutorial with Drew Gulak. This time, Austin Creed of Up Down Down, friend of the site, Austin Creed, guides you through and everything. And it's funny because you wind up having a WrestleMania match with John Cena to end the tutorial and everything. And everyone looks good. The wrestlers look great. I feel like they're doing a good job at this time of capturing all the models. I do like that your test dummy or your training partner is Happy Corbin. And I think, unfortunately, this game does a really, really weird thing where it's trying too much to be like the television product. Because anytime I pick up a WWE game, going as far back as like the PS2 stuff, PS1 stuff, the first thing I do, open up a Royal Rumble. Just open up a Royal Rumble and throw virtually everyone in there. I'll check everyone's scores afterwards. And then I was like, yo, I'm going to be the Iron Man. I'm going to come in at number 1 and I'm going to go the whole distance. The problem is there are opportunities or points in this game where the game takes control away from you because your wrestler, your character will wind up taking like a rest break underneath the rope or under the
because
at
the TV
turnbuckle
commercial's playing, right?
Or like a lot of wrestlers will take a quick break to gather themselves in while you're watching a match. Someone, especially during a Rumble, will be like, all right, cool, I'm just gonna lay down here and let someone else have their spot for a second.
In the corner for like 10 minutes. Yeah.
And it's just long enough of a break that it kind of takes me out of it. And also, I'm not too in love with the countering system either. It's timing based, so you have to hit triangle or you hit square to break up a grapple. It's still very early in and everything. I kind of wish that the WWE 2K23 games would kind of just go in a more arcadier route rather than trying to,
or at least have an alternative product that is the arcadey product.
Yeah, wasn't there one of those a couple years ago that had
WWE All Stars? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say.
All Stars, or just have like a proper fighting game. I don't know. Like,
yeah, right. Let NetherRealm make that mobile fighting game that they did with the superhero WWE All Stars characters, but make that a full actual fighting game for consoles. They needed to do that. I can't believe they never actually did that.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is just me looking back with like rose-colored glasses, but I feel like Def Jam Fight for New York did a really good job at kind of nailing like the different fighting styles that like you would have in wrestling, and was able to nail those counters and everything, or pairing, I guess, really well. And there were points where the difficulty definitely ramped up, but I felt like I was able to build up my skills enough to get there. And, you know, that got up to 4 different characters at the time. So just take that, put it here, y'all. Come on. But God, thinking of NetherRealm making like a shoot wrestling fighting game seems that's like do that. Why don't y'all do that?
I love that. I want it.
I don't know. I want to like this more, and I'll spend some more time with it. We'll probably do a quick look later this week. And this year, the career, the career story mode follows John Cena this time. Big John. So I kind of want to check it out. Maybe we'll go onto the set of Peacemaker or Suicide Squad 2 and eat a bunch of empanadas. But anyway, now forget the empanadas. It is time to get to the Game of the Week, which is a demo, but it counts because it's still a game.
It counts.
The Game of the Week is the Resident Evil 4 demo. I was going to say demo, but it's demo. I wrote this, and I know that it's demo. I said demo a second ago, but I was going to say demo.
Yeah, they're interchangeable.
I like it. Yeah, you could say either one. Yeah. It's just an accent. Is anyone else a little bit freaking out about how just this is exactly like when they released Resident Evil 4 originally? They put out this demo for that game where it's like go in the village and mess around, and you get the little disc for the GameCube and you put it in there, and you play it over and over and over again because there's all kinds of fun stuff to discover. And it's like this time they did that and they amplified it so much more. It rules. This is awesome. I'm so excited for this game now.
This game is so wet. It's so wet. It's so wet shiny. Looking. It's disgusting. It's getting me wet.
Let's go.
It's moist.
It's just so gross. I love it.
It's hideous.
Yeah, go ahead.
You playing it, Rory?
I am, and I played enough to like kind of say to myself, I don't know if I need to play this game again. I hate to be negative Nancy, but like I've played this game multiple times through multiple remakes, and I'm like, it looks great. It's awesome, but also like it's the same. It's pretty much the same game as far as I can tell. They've added some little stuff. We'll know more when the full game comes out. But like
we'll be able to talk about it at some point in the future.
It is an all-time great game, but I'm like, especially if is it full price to pay?
I believe. So.
Yeah, this is one of their full remakes that they're doing, like they did with Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. So yeah, they're treating it like a brand new game. And
maybe it'll come to
my understanding is there's at some point in the future, I'm sure, but it is definitely going to have a lot of stuff that's like surprising, I think, to a lot of people. It's kind of my understanding. Cool. But I mean, beyond that, I haven't played it. I don't know for sure. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, kind of being someone who really, really loved Resident Evil 4 when it came out, and played it over and over again when it came out at that time, and then has kind of like I checked back in on it like once since then, and I didn't even like beat it at that point. I'm super ready for it, and I think that there's a lot of people out there that are probably either like me or have actually never actually played Resident Evil 4, despite the meme of it being re-released a million times. Huh. I think that's going to be the bigger audience. I think this is going to be a massive success for them.
Yeah, I mean, I've played a ton of the demo. I think there's something kind of amazing about, I think from what I could tell, like it feels like how do you look at it in your sort of like headcanon? Do you say like, okay, well, this replaces the original now from what you've seen, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like and for people who haven't played the original, it's like, do you say, well, yeah, this is just the one to do, probably?
I think for these games, yeah. I mean, that's been kind of how it's been going. Like, I think if you are someone who plays these games or someone's like says, hey, what Resident Evil games should I play? I'll say, yeah, go start. You could probably start with RE Remake, but you can play a Resident Evil 2, the remake of that one, and do that stuff. But if you fall in love with Resident Evil the way a lot of people do, there's actually still a lot of value in going back to those original games, even the PlayStation ones. So it's like, we'll have to wait and see like how it goes with Resident Evil 4 versus the original version of Resident Evil 4. But I bet there's going to be some value to like the people who become super fans coming out of this one.
It's like excuse me for bringing up wrestling. I didn't mean to. But it's like, in a wrestling game, when you have multiple versions of John Cena, current John Cena doesn't replace old Doctor of Thugonomics John Cena. That's just the same John Cena, but just different versions. So I think the same way as you're thinking, Grub, of like there is value in checking out the original jank of some of the older RE titles, but with RE4, I feel like it's everywhere. It's on phones too, isn't it?
Oh. Yeah, I think so. With some version of, I think so. Maybe not. But it's everywhere else if it's not.
Yeah.
You can get the Switch version. You could play it on the Wii with the motion controls. Like, it was everywhere.
There's a VR version.
I don't think I've.
Yeah, for Oculus Quests. Yeah,
that's right. I don't think I've started any game more times than I have started Resident Evil 4.
Probably.
For sure. I've probably completed it maybe like 2 to 3 times during my lifetime, but not, but based off this demo, like I'm going to finish this for sure. I think it's doing a thing where it is honoring the generous rose-colored glasses that we all lenses that we all like look at these games that are 20 years and more older, and it sort of like validates those potentially inaccurate nostalgic memories.
Yeah, gives the love it needs to
with that contemporary update. It's like it really just it hits. Imagine they did it to a game that doesn't hold up. Like, I don't know, Eternal Darkness. Like maybe you go into a game and you're like,
sorry,
this game's so sick. I can't wait to replay it.
Yeah.
And then you're like maybe even 30% through it and you're just like, God, I've made a mistake.
I was like that with Tales of Symphonia. I think they did that big remake of that. Tales of Symphonia, I believe that's the one. And I was just kind of like, well, this has aged. For an RPG, these mechanics have aged pretty poorly. So I don't think RE4 is like that. I just don't think I need to go through that entire game again. But what I played of the demo was really fucking cool. It looks great. So.
Yeah, I even had like the same experience I had with the GameCube demo where I like would go into the village and I would be a bit too aggressive or I'd be too impatient. And I would usually end up dying a couple times. And then I'm like, okay, well, I need to just find this pathway through this village to survive. And with the GameCube version, that was really helpful because when the game came out and I actually got it, I played. I'm like, well, now I know how to do this village and survive. So this isn't going to be some stumbling block for me that's going to discourage me from playing. And the same thing's happened here where, no, I know exactly how to survive in that village. Now I've done it a couple times. And so when I actually get my hands on the full game, I'm going to have an easy time just going in there and conquering that village and having a good time and then moving on from it. And the rest of the game is not quite as trying to juggle these enemies attacking you during a timer the way that is. It's like, no, you can actually either run past them or you can attack them and actually defeat them and move on from them. And so it's like, okay, it's good to get some practice with this part of the game so you can be ready for it. And also it's just a really good showcase for all the cool stuff happening in there where, once I learned that you could drop the lamp in the cow stall and have the cow catch on fire and all that stuff. Yeah. I was like dragging the characters. I was kiting them through there and trying to get the chainsaw guy in there and then shooting it myself and letting it drop on him and catching him on fire too as best I could. And then it was also like in that same area, if one of the Garados, is that how you, Ganados? I can't remember what the name of the enemies are called. But if one of them grabs you in that specific part of the map, that it triggers a cutscene where it's like an instant death thing or close to an instant death thing where the chainsaw guy will come through and he'll knock part of the building down and it'll collapse and it'll cut off that part of the map if you survive. But he'll come up and then you have to either hit, F to escape on the keyboard, or if you don't escape, he'll just come up and like chop you and then stab you and it kills you instantly. It's cool to replay that specific part because there's so many interesting things that can happen. And then you see online people are finding like little tunnels you can go in and find submachine guns.
Damn. Yeah.
And I'm like, really? I like looked everywhere for it. I'm like, I need to actually go and see exactly how to get to this. But it's like, then you take that back up there and you can just start blasting everybody and tear them apart with the submachine gun. Oh man. Okay. Reasons to replay a demo. And then that's even before you get into the chainsaw extreme difficulty or whatever it is that pops up one out of every so many times. I think they know they have something special and the way they're treating it like really exemplifies that.
I gotta ask y'all with how they're doing these remakes and picking and choosing here, because I feel like a lot of us thought Code Veronica would have popped up by now.
Yeah.
Especially after the RE2 remake. Will we eventually get a remake or remaster of RE5?
I can't. I personally I loathed that game a lot, so I would like them not to spend their time on it. But I don't know. Do people like RE5 after all this time? I thought it was like negatively received for the most part.
in a way that you like love hate something. Maybe I don't think
There's a lot of people who really like Resident Evil 5.
I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people.
Yeah, there it is.
dude. I just played it like relatively recently. It's not good. Like there's fun to be had in it if you're just taking a piss, you know.
Sure. I played through all of that game co-op with a buddy next to me. So
Yeah, that's the problem. The single player AI was bad.
yeah.
Very bad.
I don't think that game is gonna like have the same amount of momentum, and you know, there's the
Nothing will have what Resident Evil 4 has. You're right, about that.
but for what did they do? They remade 1, 2, and 3, right?
They remade 1 on the GameCube a long time ago, so they didn't do that one again. So
they
that
did
could
2
be
and 3.
that could be something. They could do 1 again, I suppose.
Yeah, like I would
yeah,
take
they've done
1
2,
again
2 and
before
3, now
5.
4. Yeah,
Right?
I mean, Code Veronica, but that one, it's like, I guess it's as much work as any of the other ones.
It's tough.
But,
I remember Code Veronica being pretty tough for an RE game.
right, but it's like I think the number at this point, I think we're just on a different timeline than we were back then. And I think so. If they go to Resident Evil 5 and they remake that, they would have to re-edit a lot of it, and I think they've done that with all the games so far, so that wouldn't be too much of an issue. And I think the momentum doesn't come from it being Resident Evil 5 now. It comes from, oh, well, I've played the remakes of 2, 3, and 4 and love those.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go back and play the old 5. I'm going to wait for them to remake 5. And then there's going to be millions of people who that applies to now. So I would say that a remake or something of Resident Evil 5 does actually happen. And it is probably next.
Sure.
Damn.
Just never make a new Resident Evil game. Just keep on remaking the old ones.
But 8 was great.
but the new ones are coming out.
They make new ones as well in between. That's what they do. They make a new one, they do a remake, do a new one, do a remake. And that's so they'll have a new one next. And then after that will be Resident Evil 5. So.
I'm happy that Capcom is in this position to do this though, because weren't they in trouble a couple years ago where like the future was kind of up in the air? Okay.
Before Monster Hunter World, before these Resident Evil remakes, yes, they were in a tough spot. And now they are the third party publisher that all third party publishers aspire to be like. They all want to be like Capcom. They all want to have their Resident Evil series that they can remake a ton of and make new ones of, and they want to have their Monster Hunter equivalent. Yeah, that's what every publisher wants to be. So Capcom is just absolutely killing it.
It's so interesting. Capcom is so interesting though in how they treat Resident Evil, because I feel like they've done a really good job at these remakes and with 7 and Village. But for some reason, I can never get into their attempts at making like a multiplayer game. Like it just doesn't hit in the same way that any of the other Resident Evil games do.
Yeah, people liked what was the first one? Outbreak?
That sounds right. Yeah, I know that it had like a cult following with it, right?
Yeah, I guess many of them probably have cult followings, so that's probably what I'm thinking is actually, a bunch of people liked it. It was probably just a cult following, but that was that one that was on like PS2 and you needed the Ethernet adapter?
I believe
it was like a
so.
real early one.
I remember looking at like a spread in a magazine of how to get it running, and then thinking, I don't have an Ethernet cord. What?
Yeah, I don't have cable internet. This isn't going to be for me. But yeah, that's definitely something that they keep trying to do. They've done it with, the most recent one, Village, had that multiplayer attached to it that eventually came out, and I don't know anyone who played that. So yeah.
All right, everybody. That about does it for video games. I'm so ready to get wet with Resident Evil 4. I'm so ready.
Oh boy.
It's
so
a
ready.
sloppy wet game, and I'm ready for it.
Buddy.
You're gonna get sloppy steaks in that game, and you don't even know how. You're not gonna intend on doing it. It's just gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
We said it. I think I said it on UPF or something like that. That game has all the Resident Evil games have the shittiest food you've ever seen in your life. Like it's this maggoty dead cat entrails on a plate. Village
they get
did
that in a pot, literally. In
Village
the
did it really
game.
bad. Then this one has some really nice stuff right off the bat. Like I don't know what the Plagas does to make people want to eat like offal and roadkill raw, but if you want some foul looking food, those. It
makes you vitamin D deficient. And it's like,
go.
I'm just craving disgusting food.
Fantastic. Well, we're all gonna go stick our hand into a barrel of jelly beans and find what we pick up what we find and eat it. And we're gonna take a quick break. And Jeff Grubb will be back with the news. Jelly beans. SquareSpace. Yo. If you've been thinking about making a website and you haven't given it a go, Now you can go with Squarespace, the all-in-one platform for building a beautiful website to showcase or even sell your work. Squarespace can help you do it all, y'all. If you're opening a salon, or you're a workout coach, or you're opening a cotton candy making class, you can create appointments for all your clients, no problem at all. Squarespace also has analytics, so you can study what's really popping with your audience, where you can improve, and where your people are. And if you've got stuff to sell or subscriptions, Squarespace can help you do it because they can help your site accept stuff like PayPal, Apple Pay, Stripe, or even Venmo, no problem at all. Wow, Squarespace, wow! Head to squarespace.com/bombcast for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use offer code BOMBCAST to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. This show is brought to you by BetterHelp. The hardest person to get to know sometimes is yourself. We're in a constant state of change, so it can be hard for us to notice when we have had little changes here and there. BetterHelp can connect you with a licensed therapist that can help you get to know you better, and that can do wonders for yourself. Listen, y'all, it's 2023. No one should feel any shame for seeking out help with therapy. Work, relationships, and even the weather can get you feeling down. Therapy's really helped me contextualize some stuff and really understand me. It's also great to get stuff off of your chest because that weight you're carrying can really harm you in the long run, homies. If you've thought about giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great place to start. The whole thing is online, and BetterHelp can help connect you to a licensed therapist, and if that doesn't work out, you can switch at any time for no additional charge. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/bombcast today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/bombcast. I don't see cotton candy enough in my day-to-day life.
Yeah, no one does unless
see
you're
it.
like a clown. What's the problem?
Well, I don't know. I feel like it'd be cool or fun to occasionally have cotton candy pop up at least once every 2 weeks.
Cotton candy is so disappointing.
What?
It's the disappointing stuff is the stuff you buy in the store in the pre-packed plastic bag. If you're at the ballpark, get that fresh shit. It'll make your hands sticky, but then a lot of fun things in life make your hands sticky. So
I just
go for it.
I only declare that because I've recently seen a child eat it for the first time. And like, there's nothing more telling when the child is sort of just like, that's it, like just being unimpressed by it.
Oh,
like, it's fucking pathetic. It is such a pathetic carnival food.
The most upsetting thing, I still enjoy cotton candy, but I had a hatred for cotton candy because I almost failed my assignment to build a gingerbread house in high school. Because I thought
this all tracks, yeah.
Yeah, like where's the cotton candy come in? Let's hear it.
Okay, so I made a chimney in my house, and I thought, it'll be so cool to have like smoke coming out of it. So I put cotton candy there, right? And then we had to let everything sit for a day, and then we'd be graded on our gingerbread houses. This is for a home ec class. This isn't for like an English or math class. I set it there, and I was really proud. It looked really great. And the next day rolls around, and no one ever told me that cotton candy, if it's been exposed to air long enough, will just dry up. So it just looked like a little tart, like pink blue turds on top of my chimney. I almost failed, guys. Luckily, I had some extra cotton candy on me that was sealed.
See, cotton candy let you fucking down.
Cotton candy, it does seem like this like precious thing that if it is exposed to any elements, it's going to evaporate. Yeah, well, I'm obviously you eat it, and that's the whole thing. Like it evaporates in your mouth. Like that's where the disappointing thing comes from. Yeah. But it's like a lot of foods are like that. Like if you eat like a goldfish cracker, and you bite it, and it's like it feels like it just goes away, and you never actually swallow anything. It's so weird.
I think a goldfish cracker. I'm sorry, but I think a goldfish cracker is more satisfying than any amount of cotton candy.
What's really good is goldfish crackers and Skittles at the same time. Goldfish crackers and Skittles in your mouth at the same time, washed down by a Coke. 13-year-old me had some amazing dietary habits. But
washing it with Coke?
Yeah, it's great.
My mouth
sort of negates everything.
I feel the film right now.
I know, but like at 13, I would have fucked up.
Yeah.
Now today,
I drank like a 24-pack of Coke every 2 days.
Would be like how that's how Jeff Grubb died if I tried to do that today.
Wait,
Well, we've
I
all
don't-
seen that GIF of the little otter trying to wash cotton candy off in the water to like
Right, yeah, it disappears.
evaporates,
Right.
and
Oh,
he
that's
just-
so good.
No!
Yeah, it's like, where'd it go?
Oh,
Wait,
it's so funny.
I feel like
eh.
you slid some dietary detail under the radar there. Did you say that you have how many sodas?
I would drink a 24-pack of Coke in like 2 or 3 days as a kid.
Back
3
then, okay.
days.
Yeah, no. I have one soda a week max at this point. It's sugar-free Red Bull. I drink so much water. I'm way healthier than I was back then. I'm still probably 10
Rory's the most
high.
hydrated person I know.
I drink so
actually,
much
Yeah, he's the
Holy
wettest
shit.
person
I drink like
I know.
6 of these a day.
Oh, he's wetter than the
And it's
RE4
just
demo.
spilled all over
Listen,
me.
someone in chat was like, "Oh, you're sour on like Carnival foods." That's not true. Like I could be a piece of shit. Listen, I used to be a piece of shit, and when I show up at the Carnival, I then transform back into the piece of
Elephant
shit.
ear, right? That's the top one, right? The elephant ear.
Elephant. We don't have. They don't have
We're gonna
that.
make a
Like
Carnival food tier list sometime
oh,
soon.
funnel cake's got to be number one for me.
Right. That's what an elephant ear.
Yeah,
is,
it's same
right?
thing,
Like
yeah.
yes.
Oh,
funnel cake, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's that, and then like the tornado potato, where they like take a full potato.
the spiraled one. Yeah,
and they
those are
spiral
cool.
that little bad boy.
Mm.
I'll fuck with like fried Oreos. I'll fuck with corn
Yeah.
dogs.
All right, this is going to be our
Corn
EPF.
dog, man,
Like, there's a pre-built Carnival Foods tier list maker that we have to do at some point on the
Okay.
stream. So
Rory,
let's
we're gonna do whatever you want for UPF.
Yeah, that sounds good.
If you want to,
Your
if you want us to help you answer
UPF.
support,
Mr. Shifty for 2 hours. It's fine with me.
Hell yeah.
all right,
Let's go.
we'll do a race.
Real quick, Winship in chat said fried butter, and I can't tell if they're
No, that's
kidding,
real.
but
That's
that
real.
is definitely real.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like what? Where have the decisions in your life led you to the point where you're like, hello, I will take one of your finest fried sticks of butter.
I don't know. You hang out with Dan Reichert for long enough, it feels like that's.
I feel like Dan wouldn't get like a deep
wouldn't
fried
do
stick
that.
of butter.
No.
He
wouldn't-
he's scared
wouldn't
of
get
butter.
himself. I'm saying you hang out like if you're next to him, he'll get it for you. Yes, that's what. That's,
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But like, what I don't understand is like, I just that it's so unappealing. Like I would fry anything
yeah.
over butter.
Well, they fry everything like Coke syrup. You can
Ugh.
get anything fried at a Carnival. I suspect the fried butter is probably not like a stick of butter, probably little smaller bites. But I don't know. Never seen it. I don't go to carnivals. I don't go to state fairs as a rule now. It's kind of not my.
Why? What happened?
I don't
ever since
want to
the
have
war-
to see 80 people die on one of those roller coasters.
That seems like a rare thing. I feel like you
Not with the
wouldn't
way
nec-
the regulations of this country are going, man.
That's-
Well,
those
these
are
are clowns
problems,
in
let's be
Congress.
honest, but, like,
They're
Yeah,
such
these
clowns in Congress.
for increasing roller coaster speeds. I ain't afraid of no roller coaster.
every day, 400 people die on the Twilta world.
It just seems like I'd rather do other shit. But yeah, fried food. If I was a fried food aficionado, I would try to find a state fair, which there are apparently a lot of. I don't know how many state
I've
fairs.
decided I'm gonna go get cheese curds tonight from.
Oh, those
you can just
rule.
get that. You can just get that where you're at.
Yeah,
He lives in
there's
Ohio.
what's the there's a fast food place from Wisconsin that is I have one in my town. Someone in chat's gonna know it here, but they have that's like their thing is cheese curd. Culver's, thank you. Yes, Culver's, they have cheese curds, and they're delicious. They're really good. They make them
When I was up skiing in Maine a couple weeks ago, there was a place. It was like garlic butter cheese curds.
There we go.
And
All
it
right.
changed
Speaking of-
my vacation.
You ski
I
down
just-
those bad boys.
Say what?
You ski down those bad boys instead.
Oh, Jen, that's not a thing you do before skiing. That's the thing you do at the end of skiing. Because, my man, you cannot get back on the mountain with that in your belly. Okay?
That's the best. That's the best skiing food, though. Is the food that you eat at the end of the day that you're like, I could never go back up there. I would die, and I would just roll back down.
Exactly. You're just like, how did I even do that after?
I have some news here for everybody. Starting with this one right here. PS5 Pro rumors are back once again. A new report from Insider Gaming claims that a PS5 Pro is already in the works. That's not too surprising. These are the kinds of things where like they have these hardware teams. What are these hardware teams doing? They're like just making the next system for 8 years? No, they're probably looking at every possibility. But I guess what is maybe surprising is that apparently Sony is planning to release this in 2024. That's next year, according to this story. Part of what's happening here is Mark Cerny filed a patent recently that aims to improve ray tracing performance on consoles, and the report claims that would be central to this new upgraded PS5. Also, Sony doesn't want to wait to launch, or they don't want to launch the PS6, excuse me, until at least 2028. So that would be like an 8-year cycle, and that would be at the earliest. So they probably want to have something to bridge it, is the suggestion here from the story. I guess I'm personally like, I really would be surprised if we get a Pro for either console this generation. I'm not going to say it's impossible. It is definitely possible, especially if they sort of chicken one another and like stare one another down and like, I'm going to do it. Oh, you are? Well, then we're going to do it. That could happen, and they both would end up having to have something if that's the case. But I think the more likely scenario is kind of what happened with the Switch was they worked on something, because they always work on something to have like a mid-gen refresh over at Nintendo, especially with one of their handhelds. And instead of launching it, they're like, no, we just won't. We'll just find a way to raise the price of the current Switch by putting an OLED screen in there and selling that to everybody again. And I think that these console manufacturers will probably find a path like that, where they slim their systems down, especially the PS5, put more storage in there, especially the PS5, and then sell that again at the same amount of money they've been selling it for this entire generation, which now is like $550 around the world, right, for the PS5. So that's where I'm at. But I mean, maybe I'm completely off base. Do you guys think we get a Pro next year?
I didn't even think about the idea of not having a Pro at all this generation. I feel like it'd be inevitable. I just didn't expect it to be so soon as next year. I thought we would get eventually would get a redesign that would be a slim. I wonder if they're trying to do two birds, one seed here, where...
Seems like that's what the story is saying, is exactly that, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if I would want to pick up a slim PS5 that is also a Pro, just because, again, there's not a lot there, or not enough there as is. And I feel like the demand for PS5s, and, I don't think anyone needs a PS5 Pro right now. I don't think anyone does, but I feel like the market, based off of how fervent people were to pick up a PS5 at all, I feel like the resale market might go insane all over again, just because it's like the new hot item.
The timing of all this just like seems just not right. You have a market that was just caught up with demand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? It just caught up. So, you're probably, a lot of people only first got their hands on a PS5 in the last 6 months. So I just don't understand this. Now, the last time we had this conversation, which now feels like we do it every like 3 months or so.
Mm-hmm.
But the last time we had this conversation, it was all about like this being the slim, right? Because, silicon gets smaller, power consumption, you can lower power consumption.
Right, and that's still part of this story where the slim model would drop the disk drive and replace, I guess both versions of the current PS5, and that would I guess stay at like $400 for a diskless version, and then there would be this Pro model at the top of the SKU. And so, okay, I can kind of see that, but I don't know, what does that make you think?
Well, sure, but I think it's all also predicated on the fact that, like, I remember when PS4 Pro came out. Again, it was a while ago, but I do recall some level of like desire for a beefier console.
Sure.
Where I don't feel that with PS5.
Right. I think that's exactly kind of where I'm at with it, where we look at the reasons why they would do this. And the reasons why they did it last time is, for one, they can, which is always going to be the biggest reason. If they can do it, they will. The PS4 was slipping in price at that time. And it's like, well, we want to keep a higher average sales price. I had someone who was working at Sony at the time tell me exactly that. Like, but that's that's the main reason we do this. So we sell this thing, we put the professional name on there. That gives it you have a certain idea of what to expect from it. But really, this is to keep the average sales price of the hardware at a certain level. if we think the PS5 is going to go down in price, then yes, I totally think a PS5 Pro will be inevitable. I just don't necessarily see the PS5 going down in price anytime soon, especially not on a timeline where it makes sense to replace it with something else. Now, if they want to raise the price again, maybe they do a Pro and they do it on the other side of $550 and make that $600, $650. I don't know. Even that seems like, why muddy the waters? And it's like they're not going to have the same sort of marketing scenario that they had with the PS4, where it was like, everyone has a 4K TV right now. We did not predict that would be the case when we launched these systems. Everyone has one now. And so why aren't we trying to sell a 4K console? Let's go ahead and make a console and just say this is the 4K version of our console. Yeah. The 8K is not a thing. Won't be a thing, especially by next year.
No,
8K's,
no.
And it's not. It doesn't make any sense for games. I think a lot of people are already savvy to that not being a buzzword that's going to catch on. And then, well, what is the other buzzword? Well, the suggestion in the story is it's ray tracing, and I just don't know if that's something that gets people out of their seats to buy a console. I just really don't think it is.
Craziest thing about this is that there's barely been any PS5 exclusive games yet.
Yes.
Like every game that I'm playing, God of War, Returnal, obviously PS5 would probably was built on earlier hardware because that took a while to develop, I'm sure. But we still haven't gotten like a real AAA. I know Ratchet and Clank and people talk about some of that, but not like God of War or Horizon or one of their very huge first party games coming out in a PS5 exclusive. Like God of War looks fucking amazing on my 4K TV right now. Returnal looks great. Like, what can they actually do if they're building something specifically for this hardware? And until that happens, like, why the fuck would I ever buy like a PS5 Pro? Because if they're still pumping out like games that are going to be on PS4 anyway, the PS5 is handling them perfectly fucking well without the extra hardware. Because I mean. I admit I turned my PS5 output down to 1440p on my TV just because there were some frame issues on Returnal, especially. So even with maybe that's an excuse to get a new one, but I would not have to, even as a gaming professional, the most professional gaming professional, I would not upgrade or buy a new console at this point right now. I'd probably rather get a better video card. Yeah, so it's weird. More power to them if they want to do it, but maybe get some actual exclusives that people want to play. Uncharted, whatever, PS5 exclusive. Until I see that and see what that means, why would I upgrade?
Yeah, I feel like I'm going in a skew of that path the other way, where I'm actively waiting for more stuff to get ported over to Steam so I can potentially check it out on a Steam Deck. Like, I really wanted to pick up The Last of Us Part 1 and like the remaster, and I'm like, oh, I could do that on PS5 and it'll look great. But maybe I'll just wait for it to come to Steam, and then I can play it there, and then I can handle it at my own pace, and everything. Just because I don't know what it is. Maybe I just have I prefer handhelds and everything. But
you're a very active guy. You're on the go.
I mean, I think the thing with the PS5, especially where they're building it for this SSD quick loading, Horizon Forbidden West is way better on PS5 for loading alone. But then you look at the Returnal, where you're doing like instant warps around a lot. The PC definitely struggled with that. Even on an SSD, I installed that game on. I really do think I'm not a PS. I prefer to play PlayStation than other stuff, other consoles. But like it does feel like that system might have been engineered in a way that might make some of those games a little more difficult to replicate on a PC. Maybe not like the open world stuff. I'm sure it'll be fine. But for stuff like that, where I don't know, all the rendering stuff that Sony did in that pre-release live stream seems like it might be tough to port over 1-to-1. But we'll be curious to see.
Well, hey, speaking of that, moving on here a little bit, PlayStation's next PC port may be Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. There is a job posting for Nixie's, which is that PC port house that Sony acquired to handle a lot of these things going forward. And they're asking for an engineer familiar with coherent middleware, and that's capital C coherent middleware, and if you try to look in the past, like what first-party game at PlayStation used coherent middleware? It was Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. The timing on that makes sense. That game is now from the beginning of the PlayStation 5 generation. We're fast approaching 2-3 years on that. So, yeah, I would expect to see that on PC soon. Well, it sounds like they might be working on it. And that was one of those games that they made a big deal about. Hey, this is going to have all this like warping technology. It's going to instantly load, and this is only possible because we have the power of the PlayStation 5 SSD. Well, it's going to come to PC, and of course, it's going to run just fine there as long as they optimize it correctly. But hey, I loved Rift Apart. I really like that game. I would love for more people to have a chance to play it.
Yeah, another game where I'll be like super jazzed to check it out on my Steam Deck. Yo, Sony, all the work you're doing in R&D to make like a PS5 Pro, just make a Steam Deck. I know it's basically just a PSP or a Vita, but just make it big.
Yeah,
Sure.
make it big.
Yeah.
I think they're looking at it again,
Ooh.
especially after the Steam Deck.
Make a PS5P.
There it is.
Oh, jeez.
Just imagine like you got to wear a
There we go.
backpack to play that bad boy.
Metal Gear Acid 3. Make it happen.
Rory, are you working on Metal Gear Acid 3? You can
That
tell
is not
us.
what I'm doing, unfortunately.
We'll see about Rift Apart. Like we've basically had many of the big like end of life PlayStation 4 games come, including Miles Morales now, which was a launch game for the PS5, but also came out on PS4. It is going to be time for them to start looking at some of those PS5 games. The big one, I mean, Ratchet & Clank's big, but I think the big one for a lot of people is going to be Demon Souls. So if Demon Souls comes, that would be very, very cool, and that seems likely as well.
The From stuff has been really weird, like Demon Souls, obviously, and then what was the other one that I mean, they need better PC ports. I'll say that. Like Sekiro was actually pretty good. There's no ultra widescreen. A lot of that stuff is kind of half-assed on those From Software ports. So if they're going to do more of those games, definitely try to maybe play to the system strengths of the PC. I would say. I was bummed that Elden Ring didn't have ultra widescreen.
Like From Software didn't really do anything on Demon Souls, so it'd be all.
The frame rate's really good on that game.
They would. Yes, yeah, it works great on PS5, so I think it'd be pretty cool to see that on PC. But I mean, we'll see what's going to be next. It took them, I think, a while to get The Last of Us Part 1 on PC, right? That got delayed, right, Jan? You said you were going to check that out.
Is
that still not on PC?
3/28.
Okay, cool.
Later this month, yeah.
Right, so that got pushed back a couple times. So it looks like they have a little bit of a backlog now that they can work with, but we'll see when what the next game is to get.
Yeah, Horizon, Forbidden West will probably be out there before the next game comes out. They take a while with those, but
right, probably sometime next year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me Pedro Pascal's skin in that game, and I'll play it so
skin.
hard.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god, yeah. Even that I'll be cool with.
Give me Pedro Pascal's skin. Says
me my daddy.
Came out a little weird there. But.
I like it. I would have it no other way. Starfield got delayed. This happened last week. Bethesda announced the release date for Starfield. Exactly. It is coming September 6th, 2023. This puts it out of that 12-month period that they promised at the previous E3. But Starfield is now getting a direct at this year's E3 on June 11th. Which will be it'll be its own showcase after the Xbox Bethesda showcase earlier that day. So we'll hear more about this game once again, and then they're going to actually launch it September 6th. I think they probably stick to this release date. What do you guys think?
Just don't give a release date. Just don't do it.
Don't do it unless you're going to stick to it for sure.
Yeah.
Or just shadow drop it. Is that what you're saying? You just want them to shadow drop it? At this point?
I love shadow drops. Shadow drops are sick. Do that.
I think
I like that too.
From a I don't know. There's someone who I feel like has done the research and is like, shadow drops just don't. We need to rely on some of that buy hype too. Like
Sure.
Oh, for a big game like this, the marketing is important.
So,
yes.
But I think I do agree that it shouldn't be a date until it's a date. I mean, it's just like, what are we doing? And that's fine. Games get delayed. They should get delayed. They need to. That's okay.
Yeah.
Especially a Bethesda game. Yeah.
Right. But it's just so silly. That's why wasn't there one event where all the dates were incredibly dubious and we were just like, yeah, this feels right. Like, tell me it'll come out. Like, that's the final screen.
I think it was E3 last year, right?
Yeah.
Right. They said every
that.
game at this showcase will be out in the next 12 months. And now I think the three big games that they had, Redfall will make it because that's coming out in May. So that's going to make it. But then Forza sounds like it's coming out in October, and this is coming out in September. So two of the three big ones got pushed out of that 12-month window. It's almost as if that was a stupid thing to say, and they probably should not have said that. All right. Microsoft is signing more Call of Duty deals. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's skip this one. My bad. Let me hit this one first. Suicide Squad is reportedly getting delayed. This is from a Bloomberg report. It is claimed that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League will get a delay from its May release. This has not yet been confirmed by Warner Brothers, but I've separately heard something similar. I heard that it's actually this is a real big delay, and it might even get pushed into 2024.
Oh no!
All that said, they haven't confirmed it yet. I'm also like, okay, so I've heard it's 2024, but if I were them, I would just push this thing out the door and move on. I kind of don't get it. yeah, people really didn't like it the way it looked in that state of play. Oh well, I think that's kind of just how people are going to feel about this game. I think you just push it out and move on. But I listen. I don't make games. I don't publish games. I don't know that. But it's like, man, a whole nother year with a big, expensive game, a big, expensive studio like this. That seems like a lot.
What would you do like to make that more appealing? Like I was looking at it, like you're fighting big tentacle monsters. It did not look. I don't know. Most of these WB DC games lately have not been super appealing to me, for whatever reason. So
very appealing either. Yes.
Yeah, Mikon puts it in the giant bomb chat. Somebody will buy it. At this point, publishing it, putting it out the door, there will be folks that buy it. There'll be folks that enjoy shooting purple bits on helicopters. In delaying it to 24, I just don't know how much you can fundamentally change at this point. Right?
Yeah. Like, I wonder if the Suicide Squad, like that last movie made $180 million worldwide, which was pretty bombish kind of thing. And then obviously Peacemaker's out now. I'm just curious if there's a lot of love for. I really liked the last Suicide Squad movie. I thought
that was pandemic. That was pandemic times.
Pandemic times. And still, like, is that property? James Gunn is
taking anything.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird thing to be pushed. I get the superhero team up kind of stuff is still pretty.
Your point still stands, Rory. It was a weird property to attach a game to. Because look how much stuff changed from when they started working on it to when they actually launched it in terms of like what people felt about Suicide Squad. They had a reboot basically, and then you're putting a game out, and it's like, well, even that previous generation or that previous version of the DC movie universe is completely changed. Yeah. So just a weird thing to attach a game
Make
to.
That Black Adam game next. How about that?
Does this factor into the greater DC canon, or is this another like?
I don't think it can. Yeah, because it's like they wanted to make those decisions going forward. All the games will be a part of that, and it's like that's gonna be a rude awakening, I think, for James Gunn when you has those meetings with his games people and they're like, oh yeah, and that game's still 5 years out. Like, oh wait, what? Okay, the actor's contract is going to be over by then. Okay, I guess we got to.
He actually has a lot of input on these games. I mean, I know they
said that they will. They said that they're gonna like that's part of the thing. It's like all games will be part of the DCU going forward, but. Yeah, we'll see. I just kind of don't know what happens with Rocksteady. Not like Rocksteady is like one bad game from going under or something like this. But I think they probably retreat and make another Batman game if this game goes bad for them, which, they didn't want to do that. That was the whole thing here. So I guess we'll see. All right. Microsoft is signing more Call of Duty deals. Let's see. On Twitter, Phil Spencer announced that Microsoft has signed a deal with Ukrainian cloud gaming service Boosteroid to bring Call of Duty to that platform for 10 years should the Activision merger go through. Boosteroid. It's a real thing. It has 4 million users worldwide. I was surprised to learn.
Okay.
And in a statement to the Wall Street Journal, Microsoft President Brad Smith said they have more deals to follow. Other updates about this acquisition story, by the way, Microsoft says it won't increase the price of Game Pass because of the ABK merger, and Sony warned regulators that Microsoft could release a buggy version on PlayStation to undermine Sony. So that's your kind of quick update there. Basically, this is just a Microsoft doing what it's been doing, trying to look like the good guy and trying to do nothing to look like the bad guy, like saying they would raise prices, which I believe them. They won't raise prices because of the ABK merger. They're going to raise them because they're going to raise them no matter what, right? That's just what they're going to do with these prices.
Yeah, I've just about reached my boiling point with this entire situation.
I think the good news is
shut up.
It sounds like it's going to wrap up here pretty soon. Yeah. I think it's going to wrap up here pretty soon. But, we've said that before, too, and been proven wrong. So who knows? Here we are. Bowser is bullish on Switch. I like that. Nice. In an interview with AP News, Doug Bowser is still confident about the Switch. Here's a quote from him. As we enter the 7th year of the Nintendo Switch, sales are still strong. I think we still have a very, very strong lineup coming. As Mr. Furukawa said, the president of Nintendo Japan, said recently, we're entering uncharted territory with the platform. It's exciting to see that demand is still there, so nothing to announce on any future console or device, but we are still feeling very bullish about the Nintendo Switch. Basically, this interview was just them asking a bunch of questions to a guy who could never really say anything other than this. Right. But I think they're trying to. I'm trying to figure this out. Is this Nintendo telling the truth, or is this Nintendo's? Yes, don't worry. The DS is the third pillar, and the Game Boy's still going to be around. And then suddenly you look a year later, and the Game Boy's nowhere to be found, and the DS has completely replaced it. Where do you guys think Nintendo is at in terms of feeling out this transition to the next generation?
I think, well, first off, I think, Bowser's like saying nothing here.
Yes,
right?
which is literally, as the president of Nintendo of America, all he can say. They don't make decisions.
Right? Literally nothing.
Yep.
What does it mean? We're entering uncharted territory with the platform. Okay.
Well, that means that this is okay. That's Furukawa saying that, and that means that we're in the 7th year of a platform
right.
where they've never really been this far before without having new hardware.
But like also, I don't know. It's just kind of filler. All right. There are games still coming out for it, right? Like, it's funny. I guess Uncharted Territory is like, we've never seen what a battery inside a Switch will do after 7 years. We don't know.
Oh, wow.
These things are going to start blowing people's legs off.
We learned from nothing from the PSP.
Those fans in there, you're probably approaching the maximum number of spins they could do.
I definitely have on my launch unit. Man, that's sitting back there. That fan is dead.
Yeah, my launch unit Switch like goes to bed coughing every night. So yeah, I don't know. But I do think like there is a bit of like stretching and a little bit of like buying a little bit of time here. I just feel like we are approaching a situation where and I think it's going to be very telling how well the next Zelda runs on Switch also. Right? That'll
Do you
give
think
a bit
better or worse? I'm guessing better. I think they've had.
I would imagine better, yeah.
Because that one they built for the Wii U. This one they'll build it directly for the Switch. They will understand a lot of the. I mean, they got that Zelda running pretty decent on the Switch after a while. I think even the Kokorili, or I'm sorry, what was the Village? The Village that had like the really bad like 20 frames per second that everyone experienced. I think they've mostly cleaned that up. So it's like if they figured out those tricks and they've got a lot of other tricks this time around, they should be fine. Although it's a much bigger game, we'll see. He was just directly asked Bowser about, hey, what's going to be the Switch follow-up? And what do you want to see in it? And he says, I should be careful about what I would personally like to see in a new Switch. But what I can share is that one of the reasons that even going into the year 7, we feel very confident that the Switch can have strong performance over the next few years is that it is still truly that unique device that you can play in a variety of ways at home and on the go. One of the things we look at always is how can we surprise and delight? How can we introduce new, unique ways of playing? That's always in the front of our mind. And that's the other thing I'm trying to figure out. Is he saying that the next thing is going to be very different from a Switch?
Okay, hear me out here. What if Nintendo's been out of the handheld market for a while now, right? Since the 3DS. What if the Switch just folds into that slot and then they do release like a bigger console that's not, it's probably not going to be as powerful as a PS5, but it gets close to it. And then they can just have all these smaller titles, the indie stuff, just continue to go out onto the Switch. There won't be the expectation for stuff to like be super graphical and high performance anymore because they will have that other system.
Yeah, I think I like that idea. It's something I think it could be cool.
You're welcome, Doug.
I think Nintendo has structured itself in such a way, though, that would be difficult because they used to have. We have the teams that make big games for the console, and we have teams that can make stuff for the handhelds, and they're kind of separate and doing their own thing. And then at the beginning of the Switch generation, kind of going into the Switch generation, they combined all those things into one unit to make like one set of games that all come out on one platform. So and that was always the tough thing for Sony. One of the reasons it couldn't make the Vita and the PlayStation 3/4 work really well is because they would make their games for the PlayStation, and then they'd like have a B team come in and make the same kind of game from the same series for the Vita, and it was never as satisfying. And I think Nintendo would want to avoid that wherever possible. Metal Gear, and that was not disappointing, of course.
I never really figured out why Metal Gear Acid was made by a whole different company, and I guess Konami had some contractually obligated, like you got to put a Metal Gear Solid on this thing, but I don't recall that what's his face was actually really involved with them too much, but maybe for the better. But I just want to fucking goddamn just take it to PC or put it on Vita. Goddamn it, I haven't played Metal Gear Acid 2 and too long, and it's kind of
Tell you what, let me tell you about this thing called a Steam Deck, and then some of the things you could do with that thing. We can get you Metal Gear Acid.
PSP Sorry, I'm looking. It's insanely windy, and my roommate just messaged me like that.
Live
big tree is
weather
shaking
report.
A little too much.
Matthew
It
Rory.
feels like he's going in the door from being John Malkovich when he's
We're
like
just
kind of like looking in there.
outside.
Rory, your
It's
last
supposed to
day's
rain all
Friday.
day.
Don't go through the door yet.
Yeah, don't go to the light yet. Don't go to the light.
Stay away.
We have a huge tree in our backyard that my roommate's worried about, and I'm looking at it right now, and it's okay for now. We'll see.
If it dies, it dies.
If I cut out, oh hi Miru. If I let me show you real quick. Can I
let's
do
see
this,
that.
Jan?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
I'm not
you're
gonna stop
see
you.
this on live.
What are we gonna do? Fire you?
Oh,
There's
that's not a.
there's a
Don't
kitty.
worry, that's a cat, not a tree.
That's a cat, but then here's that big ass tree back here. That
Oh,
is,
man, I love
it's not shaking
trees.
too bad right now, but there's this kitty. Here, let's take a look. Hi, Miru. Meow.
Hi, kitty. Meow.
Meow. Meow. She only meows on her cat tree. So, I'm just letting you know that my roommate's saying this tree is looking shaky. So if I do cut out, it's probably because of.
Because the tree fell and
dead.
destroyed something. Well,
Well,
okay,
it might
be
fall down. I
careful.
mean, it's been really super windy and wet for a long time here. So,
Same.
I swear to God, if I open my windows, I look like a ghost, and if I close them, I look like, I don't know,
Rory, you look amazing no matter what.
non-ghost. There we go. This is the best I've looked all podcast. So I finally found my.
There it is. Yes, you got the shadow. Yes, this is.
10 years
looking
later, I
very
finally figured it out.
good. Now you can just keep the setup for every
There we go.
episode, dude.
Okay. Save profile. My hair.
Bowser defends $70 Zelda. In the same interview, Doug was asked about the price increase for Tears of the Kingdom, and he had a defense for that move. We look at what the game has to offer. I think fans will find that this is an incredibly full, deeply immersive experience. The price point reflects the type of experience that fans can expect when it comes to playing this particular game. This isn't a price point that we'll necessarily have on all our titles. It's actually a fairly common pricing model, either here or in Europe or other parts of the world, where the pricing may vary depending on the game itself. They're doing it in the European style. That makes sense. Listen, he's saying here, like, once again, kind of nothing, but also saying, we know you're going to fucking pay it, so pay up. Cough up the $70 and then go enjoy your Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Thank you very much for the money.
I'm at this point, I paid $70 for Final Fantasy 3 on the goddamn SNES, and that was 25 years ago. So it's a little tough for me to be super mad about game prices getting up. I know whatever hardware you're applying them to, like even Switch is underpowered compared to the PC. You're still spending a shitload of money on development time and everything else. So, yeah, I don't know. I know times are tough for a lot of people though. So it's also like, hey, maybe they're betting on higher revenue in the long term, even if they sell less.
Yeah, the economics are simple. You raise the price of something, fewer people buy it. But I think that they know that the demand for this game and the pent up sort of desire for it is so high that won't really be reflected here. And I think they look at how their games have sold without having a price decrease really over the last 5, 6, 7 years now. They're like, oh, well, the reason that we can keep them at this price for this long and people keep buying them is we probably could have been charging more all along. And
this is the first Switch game I've wanted to play since Breath of the Wild. So, I mean, that's pretty much where I'm coming from. I will pick up my Switch and try to update it and get the new Wi-Fi on it and everything like that. But hopefully it'll work. I don't even have a dock for it.
New Wi-Fi dropped.
Yeah, hopefully I'll probably need some fucking new Wi-Fi because it cuts off all the time now. Every day I have to replug that router. It's not good. So we'll figure something out. But yeah, I'm happy to pay $70 for Zelda. I'll play that game for a long time.
Should expense a new router before you leave. I didn't say that,
we'll
Jeff.
see.
Don't listen. Don't hear
this
me.
router this whole last 6 months support is going to be a real fun
It's
one.
going to be a real nightmare. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I should probably do my Ethernet first and then try the shipping stuff later. But we'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. I'll live stream it. That'll be UPF. Just me, my last expense report. Pornography.
A couple more stories here. The Pokemon Company is looking for an NFT master. I wrote this down. NFTs gotta own them all. It's you and me. I know it's my destiny. NFTs, oh, you're my best friend in a world that we must end. So there you go. Anyway, the Pokemon Company has a job listing for someone with deep knowledge of and someone who is deeply connected to the world of NFTs and blockchain technologies. This is not really an NFT job, but it is a job where they said we're looking for creative ways to use new technologies, and then they listed NFTs and blockchain as something that is super important to them for this job.
But maybe actually this is a good way to fish for like all the douchebags in the universe. And maybe we just like trap them and put them into some sort of chamber where they can't get out. So if that is the spirit behind this exercise, I support it.
Yeah, Mewtwo's gonna like rip their memories from their brain and completely reset them and send them back out in the
what
world.
if I go apply for this, right? And then like my intimate knowledge of NFTs is like I read the Wikipedia article on them, and I just take them down from the inside.
Here's what here, Jan. I guarantee that if you used ChatGPT to write your cover letter for this job, you would 100% get it.
All right, I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
You're exactly what we're looking for.
Exactly.
Soulless shell of a man.
Yeah, so there you go. Metroid Zero Mission screenshots have been found in the Nintendo Switch Online Game Boy Advance app. This is from a Twitter user, Luigi Blood, who found this through a data mine.
Luigi Blood?
Listen, guys, it's crazy out there in the scene. The hacking scene for the Switch. Luigi Blood's got it. Got it on lockdown.
Getting dark.
The screenshots were in the Metroid Fusion folder, but it shows the thing where it explains how linking games together using the Game Boy Advance and Nintendo Switch Online thing works. It's like that instruction screen, and they have that for Metroid Zero Mission, a game that can connect to Metroid Fusion if you have the two Game Boy Advances. Apparently, it unlocked a suit. I never did that, but yeah, actually, I wrote down here. This is from the manual. If you link Metroid Zero Mission to Metroid Fusion, an added bonus will appear on your Metroid Zero Mission game pack. After loading data from Metroid Fusion, an option to view the Metroid Fusion gallery will appear on the options screen. View these images just as you would the Metroid Zero Mission images. So it's like a way to unlock, I guess, a little bit of extra bonus stuff.
That's cool.
But it's like, okay, Zero Mission not on the Game Boy Advance Nintendo Switch Online app, but obviously it's coming. Not too much of a surprise, but I got excited about that because I like that game a whole bunch. Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick, this got me thinking more about the late. I don't want to derail you, but the latest Mario trailer.
Yeah, I didn't put it in the news here, but because it's like, a new trailer came out, but it did come out this past week. I liked it a lot. How you feeling about it?
No, I feel real good about it.
The tree fell. The tree fell.
Oh no!
We lost Rory and the tree fell.
I downplayed the tree.
Oh God, this is all your fault, Bacalar. You didn't believe him about the tree.
I downplayed the tree and now it's fallen.
I really hope that the tree is still up and that's just the wind.
The tree. Yeah, I love it. And also, I mean, it takes a lot for a tree to go. Anyway, we're praying.
You're continuing to downplay it.
Yeah, you're downplaying it.
I'm still downplaying it.
So bad when the video comes back and he's just laying under a tree.
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry, Jan. Sorry, Rory. Sorry,
the Mario trailer.
Yeah. Did you guys notice that?
I didn't check it out.
Once again, you know what I'm going to say. Once again, Mario had what? Like 7 words to say in that entire thing. They don't want that little bitch.
We're downplaying the tree. Miyamoto's downplaying the Pratt for sure.
They are. I don't know if this was like, maybe he didn't have a lot of dialogue to begin with, or maybe he does. I don't know, but they are not finding his voice trailer worthy. Okay.
Right. They're not. We want Seth Rogen front and center. That's who we need. And listen, I agree.
Or Charlie Day. Because Charlie Day, I'm sure if you did the breakdown, Charlie Day is saying a lot in these trailers. Chris Pratt, not so much.
I think 2 things, right? One, either he has an amazing voice that they want to keep under wraps, that they just want everyone to be pleasantly surprised by when the movie comes out. Or 2, they saw everyone's general reaction to Chris Pratt being announced as Super Mario, so they are doing exactly what you're saying, Bacalar, and they're just going to downplay everything. They're
I think they're just minimizing it, right? Because even what they play, it's fine. It's not ruining anything. But it was like it was weird at first, and now we hear it like in little snippets, and I don't even notice it. Like the trailer went by, and I think it was like I can't remember who I was with, but it was like, oh yeah, we barely heard Mario. I'm like, oh, we did. I didn't even wasn't even thinking about it, and I think that's where they want us, not even thinking about it.
So now I know that I have a problem because I can't not think about it. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I am unable to focus and spend a lot of time thinking about how much I hate the voice.
You've been prattled by it. Yeah.
Can you watch the original Lego movie, go back to it now and still enjoy it?
Yes, because it's just his normal ass voice and he's just a goofball and it's fine. That I have no problem with regular Chris Pratt's stupid voice. I have a problem with his like flummoxing Mario voice. I find
sounds
it
like an
so
SNL
strange.
character. It sounds like he's just playing Mario on SNL, where it's like, hey, you're still Chris Pratt, like you're the star of this SNL episode, but like just do a little Mario voice. Like that's what it feels like. And whatever, I'm over it.
I know. You're just a stronger person than me. Is really what it comes down
we've
to.
always said that.
Yeah, like that's what everyone talks about.
I've been beaten down enough by Mike Minotti who's in chat defending it once again. You talk about the Mario, Chris Pratt Mario voice. He's in here being like, we got to be nicer to Chris Pratt. That's not his exact words, but basically what he's saying.
Do we have to be nice? I don't think so. Like, who cares?
Mike Minotti's just a nice person.
Changing nothing. What's that?
Mike Minotti's just a nice person. All right.
Oh, I'm not talking shit about Mike Minotti. I wish he wouldn't voice his opinion on this very bad opinion on this. But
he did say no one here knows as much about cartoons for children as I do.
That's
so he's an authority on this topic.
Yeah, I cannot extract my like vitriol, my cringe like reaction to hearing it. To be clear though, I think the trailer looks amazing.
It looks so good.
It looks so damn good. Oh my god.
The kids really are just like for days. Before it was like they were in that Kirby zone. And I think these trailers are actually what has sort of got them like, oh no, wait, no, I still do like Mario. It's okay. And then that last one, the last one's like, oh, Rainbow Road, and the kids love rainbows. Yes. And that's why they start playing Mario Kart. And it's like, they're like, this looks good. And then for days later, it's like, so when is that movie coming out? When's the Mario movie coming? I'm like, yeah, that's a month from now.
Hey, he's back.
I won't be here.
He's back.
I'll be busy, but when I get back, we'll see it.
I could leave at any time. The power cycled here. Sorry to interrupt. Power
cycled. The tree. How's the tree?
Let's double check.
Just look.
Live tree update.
Still kicking, but it is super windy, and this house has bad wiring and all this other kind of stuff. And every time the power resets, I have to unplug the cable at the wall, then the modem, and then the router, and plug them back in order. So it takes a while.
Okay,
sorry about that.
We were just talking about the latest Mario Brothers trailer.
Yeah, I know. It's hopefully that tree it's not a dead tree. We'll see. But
it looked very alive.
Look over this. It is really shaking around though, but I gotta confess, I'm not really into this Super Mario movie. Not really.
You don't want to see it? You love the Chris Pratt Mario voice though, right?
I haven't heard it. That. I'm gonna 8 on the Bombcast. I just my last Bombcast, man. I'm gonna 8 right here.
A lot of people.
There you go. Oh man, he's doing the smack. Yes. Fucking A.
I got some trolleys while I was away. I got my Destiny 2 pack here. So this Bombcast is brought to you by Trolleys. Sour Gummy Creations Martian Mix.
Man, I hope you should really try to see if you can get paid for saying that. You deserve it. Last couple stories here. Soul Calibur remaster might be in the works. There was a rumor over on Xbox Era from Nick Baker where he said Namco is working on a remaster of Soul Calibur. He doesn't know if it's just the original game or a collection of the early games. I kind of hope it's just a remaster of Soul Calibur 1. Let's just go there and do that game. That game rules.
Holy shit, that game's amazing. Wow. You want to talk about a game? Yeah.
Yeah. Give us that game and like super playable now. Yeah, I would love that. Hitman is on hiatus. Not too surprising. IO Interactive has told Eurogamer that it's putting Hitman on the shelf. This applies to major new Hitman games. They're going to still keep updating and refreshing a Hitman world of assassination, but that really, it got its last big update with freelancer mode. It's doing very well, but they've got James Bond, and that's taken up most of their time, and then they have that Project Dragon game that they announced recently that they're working on, which is a fantasy RPG. So clearly they're very busy, and even as they started new studios to work on these games, they're all in on these two new projects. And I think I kind of dig this, right? They did a new trilogy of Hitman games. They nailed it. Honestly, I think it's a home run, and now they're going to put it on the shelf, let it roast for a little while or let it cool off, and then come back to Hitman down the road. Man, when they do, I'm going to be so excited. I'm going to be so ready for it. It's like, I think this is a really good way of doing things.
It's rare that I have super high opinions on. No, that's really mean. Let me just say, I really, really, really enjoy IOI. Take as much time as y'all need on stuff. Take a break. Y'all earned it. Hitman's great. Yep. It's going to continue to be great.
And I'm just going to keep playing that forever.
I continue to think that it's hilarious that they are making like a fantasy RPG style of thing. I look at that D&D movie and thinking about like how tongue-in-cheek they're trying to be with like D&D as a whole property and everything. And I think, you know what? I feel like IOI would nail it without trying to be super cheesy. You know, they just
Yeah.
they would just let the natural cheese develop.
Yeah,
Don't like
I don't know
how I
how I
said
feel about
that.
that D&D movie. I think what you just described there is actually kind of my issue, where I'm like, oh, they're trying to manufacture the cheese. Yeah,
Yeah,
Where
it's a little bit too
that
much
stuff happens-
winking, right?
Yeah, that stuff happens at a tabletop game, but it's like, I don't think I think it's rare that the dungeon master's like, we're gonna make this quirky. I think it's like they do something, and then one of the players at the table is like, listen, I'm a weirdo, and we're gonna go down my weirdo fetish thing, and it like derails the whole thing, and everyone has a good time. And the movie doesn't.
It looks really bad, and I say that I like D&D,
I want
but
it to be good. I don't know.
I would love it to be good, but I mean, it really did look like they're gonna fucking throw like every D&D reference at you and have that somebody in the audience. That's a werebear. Oh, that's a druid shapeshifter. Like they're casting cast summon monster 9. Cast summon monster XI.
Hell yeah!
Oh boy,
fucking stunt on these hoes.
I don't want to say there will be somebody like that, but they seem like they're very from that first trailer. Maybe the movie's very serious beyond that. That first trailer really made it look like they were kind of cashing in the nerd references, which you can go way too far down that hole, and movies become unwatchable. I mean, we all remember In the Name of the King. A Dungeon Siege tale, fantastic. I don't think this movie's
masterpiece.
This movie will not be on the level of that. That was a movie.
No.
Alex, I think Jeff and Ryan and I all saw like a midnight movie, and we got shushed because we were laughing so fucking hard at how bad it was. Somebody came over like, "Hey man, we're just trying to watch the movie." We shut up after that, but it was memorable.
I bet those people by the end were like, "Man, we should have started making fun of it too."
Yeah, I believe D&D will be better than that, but that trailer did not give me a lot of hope. Chris Pine, that's Chris. I mean, I forget.
Hey, more like Chris Fine, right?
Okay.
I have a question, Rory, and I'm not as well versed with D&D. I've always wanted to get into it, but I'm looking at the IMDb here, and I see Chris Pine's character name,
Bard.
It is Edgin. Is that supposed to be a joke?
Oh God, oh man, I don't know. There aren't.
I hope so.
For all the, I mean, D&D is more about the player characters than a lot of the I mean, there's famous ones like Elminster. I don't know where this is set, if it's Forgotten Realms or Dragon Quest. I doubt it's Dragon Quest, but I'm assuming Forgotten Realms. So you'll fucking meet Elminster at some point, or if goddamn Drizzt Do'Urden shows up, then everybody lose their shit. But I have not been following the Dungeons and Dragons movie too much. It looks cornball. It looks like a lot of B. It looks like a B movie, and hopefully it'll be entertaining enough. But I'm
right, kind of. That's kind of what my hope is for it. Where it's
Edgin,
like, it's a fun B movie.
Oh, these names are hilarious.
Oh, man, I hope they make a lot of edging jokes.
The 9th character on the top cast on IMDb is just Guard. That's the 9th listed character actor.
Played by UV Bowl. Wow.
Holga, Aijin, Zenk, Simon, Doric. They all have like 4 or 5 letters to make them all. I'm gonna have a hard time telling them apart, but I hope it's great. I hope
Hugh
it's a
Grant
fantastic
is in
movie.
this joint.
Yeah, right. That's where I'm like kind of hopeful, because it's like they're going for the tongue in cheek, and they got some characters or some actors that can pull it off. I think Hugh Grant. Him and Paddington 2. Like, this is not going to be a Paddington 2. No. Nothing will be. But it's like, man, Hugh Grant's so much fun when he's like just going ham.
Apparently,
I'm kind of hopeful on that for that side of things.
A huge piece of shit off screen. Like, apparently he's been coming out and saying like, oh yeah, I really get angry about a lot of things, and I had to take it out on people who were just walking by. He said he had a Christian Bale moment and made it all charming and affable. And apparently the stories came out like he's been banned from the Late Show for blowing up an assistant. Apparently he has like fits of rage that are really scary, but has never really come out in public. But man, and also had that weird interaction at the Oscars red carpet. He just seems like kind of a dick. But then Paddington 2 will forgive all sins for.
Exactly, right. You get a free pass.
It's the duality of man.
Yeah.
Last story. Russian hackers try to harass and threaten Stalker 2 team. Russian hackers who seem upset that GSC Game World is not going to localize Stalker 2 for Russia have acquired a 10 gigabyte cache of images and other data from the game, which is, of course, developed in Ukraine, or was developed in Ukraine before the war. The hackers threatened to release it if GSC didn't apologize to Russian gamers and promise to localize the game. GSC has posted a response that basically says, "Eat my butt from the front." Here's the exact quote. "We are a Ukrainian company, and like most Ukrainians, we've experienced many things that are much more terrifying. For example, destroyed houses, ruined lives, and the deaths of our loved ones. Attempts to blackmail or intimidate us are completely futile. Our unwavering commitment to supporting our country remains unchanged, and we will continue to do everything possible to support Ukraine." I mean, yeah, basically their statement is like, you can threaten us all you want. We're not going to give in. That's a pretty strong statement. And I kind of like, man, I'm pulling for the studio. Stalker 2 seems like a big, ambitious thing to try to pull off at the best of times. The idea that they've moved, a lot of people moved from Ukraine at the studio to, I think, the Czech Republic to keep working on the game. And it's like, man, moving your family and yourselves in the time of war and all to keep working on a game, that's rough stuff. And I'm really pulling for them. And stuff like this just makes me want to pull for them even more. So I hope that game comes out and just nails it and they get everything right. But either way, this is awesome. This is, even if it's just this, them saying, F you to a bunch of hackers, that's cool too.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that does it for the news. Jan, I'm handing the show back over to you. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's great. It's warm. It's sticky. It's fun.
It's fun.
All the best things in life make your hands sticky.
That's right. Words to live by. Put it on a bumper sticker. I'm gonna go wash off these hands and the Bombcast, and we'll return with some emails from you, the folks at home. See you in a bit. These are the emails for the show. These are the emails I will read. Emails.
Oh, jeez.
I think we need to add like a robot affectation or robot voice to every single bumper. I'm not saying we need to redo all the bumpers. Maybe we just need like little jingles. It's also because Grub put that Tim Robinson sketch in my head.
Basketball. Give me the ball because I'm gonna dunk it. Oh man. In my head all the time.
Season 3 coming soon.
That season is gonna wreck me and occupy too much brain space. Oh no! Oh my god! I need it. I need it so bad. Emails. We got them from you, the Giant Bomb audience. And you can send your emails to bombcast at Giant Bomb. I don't know why I hit the echo button there.
Giant Bomb.
Bombcast at giantbomb.com. We will enjoy them. We will read them. We will savor them. We'll print them out even. Yeah. I'll go to my partner's school and print out all your emails there and just waste all of their ink.
Use up that toner.
That's right. That's right.
They got more.
They probably got more, right? Schools are well paid and funded, right? Right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, first email comes from Matt from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. They write in, "Hello all. Even though I feel like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles never really went away, doesn't it feel like now the time for them to finally get their own big game? The new animated movie looks great, and the property seems really strong again. This has always seemed like a no-brainer for me for an open-world game. There are already 4 classes to choose from, and DLC characters built right in with Casey Jones and others. Do you think it'll finally happen? What do you think could be this game's standout feature? I genuinely think this property could easily have a game on the level with the Spider-Man games. Maybe the Xbox makes a move here for their own single-player game franchise." Matt from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. P.S. I have to ask, who's your guy? I'm a Leonardo man myself. Love the show. Thanks, Matt.
Okay, so the implication here is that the Turtles have not had their own big game.
Yeah. Right.
This is tough for me because I'm like, I don't want anything else other than what we got, which was Shredder's Revenge, which ruled.
Oh, so you're just like an asshole.
Yeah.
So you're just like, oh, the Turtles can't possibly be in anything else aside from a beat 'em up.
That's what I said. Yeah.
I just think, okay, aside from your just really upsetting take, I think
welcome.
Thank you. I agree with Matt. I'm into it. I'm into the idea of like a really fleshed out, Turtles adventure, big game. I think like you could do something a little gritty too. You could maybe harken back to the comics a little bit, harken back to the 90s movies where things were too real. Turtles got into real shit. They had real problems.
The Last Ronin is a gritty take on where the Turtles could wind up being, so they could do that.
Yeah. I think it's a very flexible IP, a very flexible franchise. You could go in any direction.
They should make just a Grand Theft Auto with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle characters.
Oh, I mean, those are your words, not mine. But I would also, plus they ain't getting in and out of cars so easily. I don't know if you see their backs, but it ain't exactly.
That's why they have the bus.
Yeah, they have the bus.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the bus is just on every corner. Everyone drives a bus, and so when you hijack someone, you just take the bus.
Give me have Tango Gameworks, right? That's the name of the studio that did Hi-Fi Rush.
Yes.
Give them TMNT.
Yeah, I like this.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
There was another franchise I just said this with, I think on the GMM yesterday, like give this to Tango Gameworks, but I mean, maybe we should just give them all to that studio if they're all going to look as good as Hi-Fi Rush. I'm very down with that. Yeah.
Anyone have thoughts and feelings on their favorite turtle?
Michelangelo was always my favorite. I'm a party boy, and so is Michelangelo.
Yeah.
And the bow stick guy. I think that's Leonardo.
Donatello.
Okay, I'm right.
Dr. Bowstick.
Oh, nice. I kind of like them all. I guess people don't usually say Raphael, but I kind of dug him more. I guess my memory of him is like more from the movies, not because I admire him, but just because he's just like
so
the
moody.
funniest. He's like so whiny and moody, and he just like leaves.
He's the most like a teenager for sure.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
It's so funny. And I always enjoyed that. Plus, I think he's got the coolest weapons.
The size.
I just like those things, man. They're cool as hell. Nunchucks are cool too, but like, yeah.
Surprise. My favorite was Leonardo. Folks have already said it. He's basically the Captain America and the Cyclops.
He is the Captain America. Oh my God. That's
my little brother loved Leonardo, loves Cyclops. Those are all his favorite characters. We should get you two guys together. That'd be fun.
Surprising absolutely no one. The Boy Scout character I'm a fan of. All right. Next email.
Don't you think he's a little bit of like a teacher's pet with Splinter, though, in a way that you're sort of
That's
like,
his dad!
hey, Leo, maybe shut the fuck up.
That's his dad. What's wrong with trying to appeal to your dad?
Yeah.
He's not their dad.
Oh, I think
figure.
Splinter would beg to differ.
Be your father figure.
Father figure's fine. Dad adjacent, fine. Yeah. What do you guys think of that new trailer for
I'm down. I'm so down.
I think
It looks
pretty
incredible.
sick.
It looks so good. I'm setting my expectations so high for it, which I don't know if that's a good idea, but it looks so good.
I'm very excited for it. I think there's a certain thing that they are capturing there that's really special and unique.
I like that they're
Rogan-esque.
actual teens too.
Yeah.
Very young teens. Like they look like they're 13. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Voice cast is relatively young. Definitely room for them to like grow
with the
if this
characters,
franchise,
totally.
you know.
It looks sick, yeah.
I think the one thing I'm scared of is that they're loading it up too heavy at the top with like they have an obscene amount of people in this movie. That where do you go from here afterwards?
You mean actors?
Yeah, they have so many people in this movie. Like Post Malone is a mutant.
Huh. He's one of the turtles?
He's one of he's one of the baddies.
And he was
Bebop
like the
or
unofficial
Rocksteady?
star of Into the Spider-Verse with that song that was in all the trailers and stuff. So they're trying to make that connection there.
Star of the last E3, I mean, too.
Yeah,
exactly. I don't know. I think they just make the next movie even bigger, and they'll bring in more stuff. They'll just keep going. They'll make it bigger and bigger until it's cumbersome.
I like
love
Daddy
it.
Splinter's looking real cool too. He's got like a cool haircut.
Oh, so now he's daddy. All right.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
Sorry,
awesome.
it was just very funny. There was a lot of people in chat very upset with you that you would not give it that Splinter's their dad. I'm just like, this isn't worth it. This is fine,
Yeah,
guys.
get some real problems, you weirdos.
The other thing I need them to finally just reintroduce and make Kino official. Damn it.
Hell yeah. I support the shit out of that initiative.
God.
Do I know Kino?
Secret of the Ooze. Ernie Reyes Jr. He's the pizza delivery boy that befriends them.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
right, yes. Yeah, man, I haven't watched Secret of the Ooze in a very long time. Mike Minotti says that's the best one. I don't know.
I
if
agree.
Okay, so
It's more fun. It's more fun.
it's definitely more fun. It's definitely like they were able to hire like a gaffer for that movie because it's not completely pitch black. I think pound for pound it's probably the better film. Yes. I think there's something special about how like fucked up New York is in the first one. Like it is the grimiest New York since like the 70s.
Oh, right, yeah.
In that movie. But yeah.
Raph is the main character of that movie. No one can tell me otherwise.
Oh,
You're right.
Totally. Yeah.
All right. Next email is about mini maps. This comes from I forgot. I think the emailer's name was Chris. What's the deal with Japanese developed games having fixed mini maps? My brain cannot comprehend this default setting, and I always have to change that setting. Is it a cultural thing? Has it always been the case? Cheers. Also from a rat-loving Bruins fan.
Oh, disgusting.
Oh my God, Jen.
I never noticed mini maps being fixed or positional. The one I noticed really really bad ones, like Returnal has one where something can be really far away because it's like 3D angled down, where you'll just see it and think it's right in front of you, but actually way far away. That's noticeable. But in terms of rotating versus fix, I never really have too many problems.
Yeah, and I'll say I haven't noticed that one way or another, like from certain games from certain regions. I will say that this whole concept of like spatiality is definitely cultural. There are cultures in the world that don't have words for left or right, and everything they do is based on a cardinal direction. So if there is like a bug on the floor and they're like, hey, there's a spider northwest of your foot, no matter if they're inside or out, they think completely in those terms. They don't even understand left, right, up, like even back, forward. That's not how they think. And it's like, so there are some cultures that are just locked into thinking northwest, south, and east. And so I think that there probably is some cultural stuff going in there somewhere, but I haven't noticed this too much. So I don't know.
I'm team fixed.
Yeah. I mean, it makes
for a
more
mini
sense
map. I think I'm team fixed as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you talking about in life or in games? Because I
on
feel
my
like
phone, I want it to be positional. I want it to be relative.
yeah. But
you do that on your phone? I know. I'm fixed on my phone. I don't let that shit rotate at all.
No, I can't.
oh wow, that's wild.
But I mean, but are you? You're not driving usually when you're using GPS, right?
Yeah, no, but I'm pretty good at driving. So
Well, we know you're the best driver.
We didn't
That goes
doubt
without
that,
saying.
I don't
Rory.
drive super far. It's usually just highway stuff if I'm getting in there. So I'm a weirdo. I don't know.
It is a fascinating concept to like have the cardinal directions permanently fixed, because those are always going to be right. I think that's kind of fascinating.
Right.
Yeah, until the magnetic poles change.
That's
There's
happening
always
soon.
that.
I know. There's already be that one guy. Well, until this one thing happens in a million years. How about that, buddy?
That's why we
compass
still
ain't gonna work then.
We contrarian for no reason at all.
That's why we still have daylight savings time.
There we go.
All right, next email comes from Pete in Iowa. Hello, fellow dirty gamers. I was recently playing. Oh, I'll read it like that. I was recently playing dirty gamers. Yakuza Like a Dragon on my day off. While my wife was working from home. She walked in on me playing during a scene where the main character interrupts gang members doing some fetish activity where the grown men were in diapers and a young woman was feeding them with bottles and such. My wife had a serious double take and I had to laughably explain myself. What is your embarrassing gamer moment, Pete from Iowa?
I have one from today.
Let's hear it.
I was getting ready for the show, and my wife was going to go pick up my one of my daughter, and she was asking help for something. She does these deals. She's like, "Can you help? Just click this button right at the top of the hour." And we both looked up at my computer. My Discord was opening, and I got a message from somebody that was of the very, very, very buxom bunny girl from Xenoblade Chronicles 2 or whatever it is.
Don't act like you don't know.
And she's and basically, and her hips are like perfectly, like they just go down in an L shape, so her butt stakes perfectly out. So she's just constantly
Holy
presenting.
shit, dude! What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And it's just like up on my computer the entire time. And we both look up, and I'm just like, and I had to like quickly explain like where that was from, and that was I don't know if she believed me, but yeah, that was not great. I'll put it in the doc, everybody. Don't worry.
Oh, thank you.
Oh man,
That's a safe
Where it
place.
belongs.
Yeah, it's a safe place.
Yeah, don't put it in the company Slack or anything. Just put it in the doc. The doc is safe until I lock it. Even then, that's when it's especially safe.
That's the most safe.
Disney Dreamlight Valley is probably the most recent instance where I had to kind of explain myself. Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Someone else posted it. I bet I know who it was.
There's that. Yeah, I was playing Disney Dreamlight Valley, and my partner had to ask, does every character look like that? And I told her no, that I made her like that.
Taking ownership for your sins. That's the first step, Jan. Definitely.
There we go.
So now that these aren't all video game moments, I guess I did have a moment the other day preparing for a recording of Jeff's Bizarre Adventure. We're pretty deep into Stardust Crusaders, and there's a Stan user named Alessi.
Yeah, this all makes sense to me.
Sure.
Yeah, who has a run-in with a child Polnareff, and it is the most fucking shocking and strange and bizarre thing I've ever seen in a cartoon. And Stacy caught me watching I'm not even going to get into the details of it because it's just about like just a lot of very disturbing and upsetting things. And anyway, I just sort of had to explain all that, and that wasn't fun either. So that was real bad. I'm not really allowed to watch that anymore, but somehow
well, the podcast will continue.
Yeah, somehow that podcast will move on.
Bacalar just in his driveway watching anime on his phone.
Yeah.
Oh,
just in the car.
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything specifically to games. I'm trying to think of one time my dad got mad at me for playing D&D. Like, I think he thought it was amoral was his word. And I was like, it's not my parents are pretty Catholic, so they didn't particularly care for it. But it was, I don't know. If you looked at some of the covers of some old, D&D stuff, you'd see the Franzettis and such, which maybe wasn't always the most appropriate thing to have, or the Filfolio. But apart from that, my parents mostly let me do what I wanted to with video games, and most of the stuff I was growing up with were not super terrible.
That reminds me, I had a video game magazine subscription when I was a kid, and I forget which magazine it was actually, but they had an issue where they had an artist come in and made basically a Sports Illustrated-esque swimsuit issue where there were very buxom versions of video game characters in swimsuits, and that showed up on the door and then immediately went into the recycling bin because I was too young at the time to see the human body like that.
I asked for the Playboy where Lara Croft was naked, and they gave me that, so it's good. That's not true.
Shiamiro is saying, I remember your Shadow Heart story. I don't even remember my Shadow Heart story anymore. All right, final email of the show comes from Mike from Boston. They write in and ask, what's a t-shirt that you own but will never give away? My main one is a tie-dye shirt with a patch that says Stressin' and Flexin' by a local rapper named Billy Dean Thomas. Sincerely, Mike from Boston.
I have one, and I think I've actually worn it on a stream before, but there's a thrift store nearby that had these weed shirts up, and one of them was like Chewbanga with Chewbacca smoking it, and the other ones are all very bad Star Wars puns. And I bought it. It's a very uncomfortable shirt, so I can't really wear it, but I also really like it. I have a million band shirts from my concert going career, and I most of them are threadbare and falling apart, but I not recycled, but Goodwilled a bunch of. I'll go through my shirts every few years and get rid of a lot of them are sentimental value to me from like 20 years ago. So I have a whole trash bag full of t-shirts that are probably getting chewed up by rats in our closet. But hey, if they do, then that'll make it easier to throw them away. But that's my solution. I have nothing offensive. Like I don't really do the crazy weird. You remember high school when everybody had those like Big Johnson t-shirts and everything like that? Most of my stuff is pretty appropriate, except for like some of the I don't know. If I wouldn't wear my satanic giant bomb shirt to church or anything like that. Say old Dan Hour. I'm glad he's moving on to bigger things, but
yeah,
we'll hopefully get this back on the store at some point too.
Yeah, I have a hoodie that says, basically, I'm paraphrasing. Basically says, I am a gamer's girl, and like gamers like possessive, and I am his highest score. And then it has all the different fonts and all the different things on there. And I wore it once for a picture as a gag, but it's in my closet, and I will never get rid of it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, maybe I can make that like a thing where I'll wear it for a special occasion or something. Yeah, we can make Dan Reichert wear it. There we go.
That's right. Let's make each other wear fun shirts to church, especially if it's a church we do not are actively practicing in.
I like this. That's a good bit.
All right, everybody. That about does it for emails. Once again, you can send your emails to bombcast@giantbomb.com. We could read them on the show. I appreciate all of your emails. And gentlemen, I know it was gone last week, and I know I didn't clear this with anyone, but I'm adding a fourth segment to the Giant Bombcast right now.
Let's go.
That segment is called Shoutouts, where cool.
know
it's like, hey, we got a Slack channel that says kudos. I want to give shout outs to people. Or, hey, if you want to write in an email and ask for a specific shout out for a friend, you can get that going, because that's what happened this week. Because shouts out to Spencer. Happy birthday, Spencer. Your friend Brittany wrote in and asked for a shout out. So shouts out to you, dog. Shouts out to Trent as well. I don't know who Trent is. Shouts out to
Trent
you.
Dilfer is a quarterback, and he was turned 51 yesterday. Shout out to you, Trent Dilfer.
Nice.
Hell yeah. Bacalar, Grub, Rory, got any other shout outs?
Nothing for me right now, except all the community people that hopefully are. I was not been in chat today, so I appreciate all the support and hopefully love. I don't know, but we'll find out more later. Be missing you all next week when I'm on my downtime, but I'll be around in the community for sure.
And that's where the biggest shout out goes to, is to Matthew Rory.
There we go.
Thank you, Matt. Love you, Matt. I'm gonna take my
shout
shirt
outs
off
to
and
you, Matt.
celebrate. Read some
Right.
E. Cummings poems in the rain. And then just watch back at what's that word? Rory, are you on the Bombcast document right now?
I am.
How do you pronounce this? At the very bottom.
Oh, you dick. Yeah, I know. I can't actually say it in chat. We banned that word in chat. So.
No, I think we unbanned it actually.
Yeah, and you should say it right now.
Oh, Ahagao? Yeah, sure. Sorry, but urgent text from somebody.
There we go. That's right, everybody.
There it is.
I don't think this is the year where we vote, at least here in the U.S. That's next year. But make sure in 2024 to Ahegao to the polls, and Ahegao say thanks to you, Matthew Rory. We love you. We're going to miss you. Mom's dead. Parkour.
I'll be back on UPF, and we'll probably do some other stuff this week as well. So we'll figure it all out.
Hit in the music.